fellow countrymen, my heart is heavy as I witness the damage which this clique of neo-colonialist conspirators are doing to our country. At the bidding of their overseas neo-colonialist masters, they are dismantling the work of 15 years. They are telling you that Ghana is bankrupt. They are telling you that our country is in debt to the extent of some 240 million pounds. What fools they are. How ignorant for them to think that you believe these stupid lies. Open your eyes and look around you. See for yourself. See the splendid new Tama Harbor. See the mighty water dam. See the fine roads which we have built under the leadership of the Convention People's Party and its government. See the schools, the colleges and the universities. See the clinics, hospitals, health centers and the facilities which we have created. See the factories which are already springing up. These are no debts. These are not debts. They are investments in our future as an independent nation. These are the physical guarantees of the bright new future which I have promised you and I have been working for. Together, we can put our Ghana firmly and squarely on its own feet. Together, we can create the things we need for ourselves instead of going cap in hand for charity handouts from foreign powers whose only wish is to exploit us and make us vassals to their interests. I know these are hard and trying days for you. I have never tried to conceal from you that real independence, that is to say economic independence, does not come without hard struggle and sacrifice. Unlike the cheats and deceivers, the liars and traitors who are now trying to lord it over you, I have never promised you any easy road. I have respected your good sense, your capacity for work, your pride in yourselves, and your sense of national dignity. Why do you think these traitors, these agents and lackeys of colonialism and of international intrigue to destroy the independence of Ghana, chose this moment to perform their dastardly act? I will tell you, less than 1 month before they struck to destroy all our hard work, we had inaugurated the first electricity from the water dam. Only 3 days before this treachery, we had signed a new agreement to irrigate the mighty Accra Plains. At last, we were on the threshold of a great new victory. We had in 1957 won our political independence after years of struggle. Now in 1966, we were at the threshold of winning our economic independence. The same people who tried to sabotage our winning of political independence 9 years ago have now struck to sabotage our economic independence and are systematically dismantling our socialist gains and achievements. Before the traitors and the rebellious National Liberation Council tried to usurp power during my absence from Ghana, Ghana was a haven to which the oppressed from all parts of Africa could come to carry on their struggle. It was a haven for freedom fighters, for independence and against colonialism. The name of Ghana was revered all over the African continent as a staunch friend of the oppressed. African brothers from South Africa, from Rhodesia, from Mozambique and Angola, from the so-called Portuguese Guinea and the Cape Verde Islands and other oppressed colonial areas were given hospitality amongst us. Do you think that this is something of which we needed to be ashamed? Not at all. On the contrary, it was something of which we should be justly proud. Haven't we proclaimed that the independence of Ghana is meaningless until it is linked up with the total liberation of Africa? Now, hundreds of these brave freedom fighters who came to our country trusting us to look after them and help them in their struggle against colonial oppression, and believing as we do that Africa and the struggle for freedom is indivisible. These brave men and women have been sent back, bag and baggage, by by this traitorous clique to the countries from which they had fled to seek refuge, inspiration, and protection in Ghana. Countrymen, a new phase of the African Revolution has been reached. This revolution must overcome and triumph over imperialism, racialism, and neocolonialism. It must finally usher in the total emancipation and the political unification of our continent. Africa must be free. Africa must be united. Fellow countrymen, my heart is heavy as I witness the damage which this clique of neo-colonialist conspirators are doing to our country. At the bidding of their overseas neo-colonialist masters, they are dismantling the work of 15 years. They are telling you that Ghana is bankrupt. They are telling you that our country is in debt to the extent of some 240 million pounds. What fools they are. How ignorant for them to think that you believe these stupid lies. Open your eyes and look around you. See for yourselves. See the splendid new Tama Harbor. See the mighty water dam. See the fine roads which we have built under the leadership of the Convention People's Party and its government. See the schools, the colleges, and the universities. See the clinics, hospitals, health centers, and the facilities which we have created. See the factories which are already springing up. These are no debts. These are not debts. They are investments in our future as an independent nation. These are the physical guarantees of the bright new future which I have promised you and I have been working for. Together, we can put our Ghana firmly and squarely on its own feet. Together, we can create the things we need for ourselves instead of going cap in hand for charity handouts from foreign powers whose only wish is to exploit us and make us vassals to their interests. I know these are hard and trying days for you. I have never tried to conceal from you that real independence, that is to say economic independence, does not come without hard struggle and sacrifice. Unlike the cheats and deceivers, the liars and traitors who are now trying to lord it over you, I have never promised you any easy road. I have respected your good sense, your capacity for work, your pride in yourselves, and your sense of national dignity. Why do you think these traitors, these agents and lackeys of colonialism and of international intrigue to restore the independence of Ghana, chose this moment to perform their dastardly act? I will tell you, less than 1 month before they struck to destroy all our hard work, we had inaugurated the first electricity from the water dam. Only 3 days before this treachery, we had signed a new agreement to irrigate the mighty Accra Plains. At last, we were on the threshold of a great new victory. We had in 1957 won our political independence after years of struggle. Now in 1966, we were at the threshold of winning our economic independence. The same people who tried to sabotage our winning of political independence 9 years ago have now stopped to sabotage our economic independence and are systematically dismantling our socialist gains and achievements. Before the traitors and the rebellious National Liberation Council tried to usurp power during my absence from Ghana, Ghana was a haven to which the oppressed from all parts of Africa could come to carry on their struggle. It was a haven for freedom fighters, for independence and against colonialism. The name of Ghana was revered all over the African continent as a staunch friend of the oppressed. African brothers from South Africa, from Rhodesia, from Mozambique and Angola, from the so-called Portuguese Guinea and the Cape Verde Islands and other oppressed colonial areas were given hospitality amongst us. Do you think that this is something of which we needed to be ashamed? Not at all. On the contrary, it was something of which we should be justly proud. Haven't we proclaimed that the independence of Ghana is meaningless until it is linked up with the total liberation of Africa? Now, hundreds of these brave freedom fighters who came to our country trusting us to look after them and help them in their struggle against colonial oppression, and believing as we do that Africa and the struggle for freedom is indivisible. These brave men and women have been sent back, bag and baggage, by this traitorous clique to the countries from which they had fled to seek refuge, inspiration and protection in Ghana. Countrymen, a new phase of the African Revolution has been reached. This revolution must overcome and triumph over imperialism, racialism and neocolonialism. It must finally usher in the total emancipation and the political unification of our continent. Africa must be free. Africa must be united.
What are we waiting for? What are we looking for, Africa? Are we looking for mere charters conceived in the light of the United Nations example? A type of United Nations organization whose decisions are framed on the basis of resolutions that in our experience have sometimes been ignored by member states, where groupings are formed and pressure developed in accordance with the interests of the groups concerned? Or is it intended that Africa should be turned into a loose organization of states on the model of the organization of the American states, in which the weaker states within it can be at the mercy of the stronger or more powerful ones politically and economically, and all at the mercy of some powerful outside nation or group of nations? Your Excellencies, is this the kind of association we want for ourselves in the United Africa we all speak of with such feeling and emotion? Your Excellencies, permit me to ask, is this the kind of framework we desire for a united Africa? An arrangement which in future would permit Ghana or Nigeria or the Sudan or Liberia or Egypt or Ethiopia, for example, to use pressure with either superior economic or political influence gives to decide the flow and direction of trade, say from Burundi or Togo or Nyasaland to Mozambique and Madagascar. We all want a united Africa. United not only in our concept of what unity connotes, but united in our common desire to move forward together in dealing with all the problems that can best be solved only on a continental basis. Sir, when the first Congress of the United States met many years ago at Philadelphia, one of the delegates sounded the first chord of unity by declaring that they had met in a state of nature. In other words, they were not in Philadelphia as Virginians or Pennsylvanians, but simply as Americans. This reference to themselves as Americans was in those days a new and strange experience. But may I dare to assert, equally on this occasion, Your Excellencies, that we meet here today not as Ghanaians, Guineans, Egyptians, Algerians, Moroccans, Malians, Liberians, Congolese, or Nigerians, but as Africans. Africans, united in our resolve to remain here until we have agreed on the basic principles of a new compact. As I pointed out, that also entails hard work. I am depending upon the millions of the country, the chiefs and people, to help me to reshape the destiny of this country. We are prepared to build it up and make it a nation that will be respected by every other nation in the world. We know we are going to have difficult beginnings, but again, I'm relying upon your support. I'm relying upon your hard work. Seeing you in these thousands, it doesn't matter how far my eye goes. I can see that you are here in your millions. And my last warning to you is that you ought to stand firm behind us so that we can prove to the world that when the African is given a chance, he can show to the world that he's somebody. We are waiting. We shall no more go back to sleep anymore. Today, from now on, there is a new African in the world. That new African is ready to fight his own battle and show that, after all, the black man is capable of managing his own affairs. We are going to demonstrate to the world, to the other nations, young as we are, that we are prepared to lay our own foundation. As I said in the assembly just minutes ago, I made a point that we are going to say that we create our own African personality and identity. It's the only way in which we can show the world that we are ready for our own battle. But today, may I call upon you all that at this great day, let us all remember that nothing in the world can be done unless it's had the purported support of God.
Accra FM.
We have done the battle, and we again rededicate ourselves not only in the struggle to emancipate other territories in Africa. Our independence is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of the African continent. Let us now, fellow Ghanaians, let us now ask for God's blessing. And for only 2 seconds, in your thousands and millions, I want to ask you to pause only for 1 minute and give thanks to Almighty God for having led us At long last, the battle has ended. And thus, Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever. And here again, I want to take the opportunity to thank the chiefs and people of this country, the youth, the farmers, the women, who have so nobly fought and won this battle. Also, I want to thank the valiant ex-servicemen who have so cooperated with me in this mighty task of freeing our country from foreign rule and imperialism. And as I pointed out at our party conference at Scotland, I made it quite clear that from now on today, we must change our attitude, our minds. We must realize that from now on we are no more a colonial but a free and independent people. But also, as I pointed out, that also entails hard work. I am depending upon the millions of the country, the chiefs and people, to help me to reshape the destiny of this country. We are prepared to build it up and make it a nation that will be respected by every other nation in the world. We know we are going to have difficult beginnings, but again, I'm relying upon your support. I'm relying upon your hard work. Seeing you in these thousands, it doesn't matter how far my eye goes. I can see that you are here in your millions. And my last warning to you is that you ought to stand firm behind us so that we can prove to the world that when the African is given a chance, he can show to the world that he's somebody.
It's a la 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 la.
100.5.
Me babo.
Wabatele Accra.
It is therefore imperative for us, here and now, to establish a liberation bureau for African freedom fighters. The main object of this bureau, to which all governments should subscribe, should be to accelerate emancipation of the rest of Africa, still under colonial and racialist domination and oppression. It should be our joint responsibility to finance and support this bureau. On their successful attainment of independence, these territories will automatically join our Union of African States and thus strengthen the fabric of Mother Africa. It's the only hope for them. Otherwise, when they become independent, why are they going? We shall live here, having laid the foundation of our unity. Your Excellencies, nothing could be more fitting than that the unification of Africa should be born on the soil of a state which stood for centuries as a symbol of African independence. Let us return to our people of Africa, not with empty hands and with high-sounding resolutions, but with the firm hope and assurance that at long last, African unity has become a reality. What brought all of you here? We shall thus begin the triumphant march to the kingdom of the African personality and to a continent of prosperity and progress, of equality and justice, and of work and happiness. This shall be our victory. Victory within a continental government of a Union of African States. This victory would give our voice greater force in world affairs and enable us to throw our weight more forcibly on the side of peace. The world needs peace in which the greatest advantage can be taken to the benefits of science and technology. Many of the world's present ills are to be found in the insecurity and fear engendered by the threat of nuclear war. Especially, do we, the new nations, need peace in order to make our way into a life of economic and social well-being amid an atmosphere of insecurity and instability? and to promote moral, cultural, and spiritual fulfillment. If we in Africa can achieve this example of a continent knit together in common policy and common purpose, we shall have made the finest possible contribution to that peace for which all men and women thirst today, and which will lift once and forever the deepening shadow of global destruction from mankind. Ethiopia shall stretch forth her hands unto God. Africa must unite. What are we waiting for? What are we looking for, Africa? Are we looking for mere charters conceived in the light of the United Nations example? A type of United Nations organization whose decisions are framed on the basis of resolutions that in our experience have sometimes been ignored by member states, where groupings are formed and pressure developed in accordance with the interests of the groups concerned? Or is it intended that Africa should be turned into a loose organization of states on the model of the organization of the American states, in which the weaker states within it can be at the mercy of the stronger or more powerful ones politically and economically, and all at the mercy of some powerful outside nation or group of nations? Your Excellencies, is this the kind of association we want for ourselves? In the United Africa we all speak of with such feeling and emotion? Your Excellencies, permit me to ask, is this the kind... Fellow freedom fighters, comrades and friends, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to Accra and to this conference of African freedom fighters and supporters of the growing movement for Africa's liberation and unity. It is good for our cause to have a periodic meeting of this kind to examine our position in the great struggle to rid Africa completely and forever of imperialism and its handmaidens, colonialism and neocolonialism. Africa is rich and not poor. As the great wealth that has been taken out of our continent over 5 centuries of spoliation and extortion very well proves. Africa has immense actual and potential wealth: gold, diamond, copper, manganese, bauxite, iron ore, uranium, asbestos, chrome, cobalt, a host of other minerals.
Ghana na Musini Alhaji Sinari ambassador of Ghana to the Republic of Saudi Arabia. Na mua munimono following entokwa ekoswo Iran, US, other international matters. Yet this is a journey be kakra kofa ho. Enti yeni ura bedin komo na wa mayinchire. What we want to find out is how safe are the citizens of Ghana. Enti yabe crossing over na emrepam yene Alhaji Sinari, Ghana's ambassador to the Republic of Saudi Arabia at Komo NVA. And still on international matters, Kwame yebesai suatufa by ukrum haya yene yura Al-Wahab, a fantastic man, a fantastic historian, a baby bremun komo, a baby yasin komo, his second to none. Na yene ba twin komo na yebisa the states of Iran, America, and yebisa say so far how far Israel and Seminole at say Menoka say they confirmed, said the supreme leader of Iran is gone. what are the effects it's going to pose to the world security. I read a book called The Colder War, and in that book, it talks about the Third World War. Can it generate a Third World War? How safe is Ghana? NTM Repamusi cross on the opening Al Wahaba Jinkomo. Maria Kam said, this is certainly the Ghana month. Please eat Ghana. It's a Bruno Mumieni. Your quadu no Mumieni. Your Quansusi and Mufabing Webian so. Mr. Mo and Chichono and Tiabokakra. You're better to crack Ghana in Yanenkwa. Nankabusumi Munanka ye Digana in Yanenkwa. Ankasi Kat be my. So I suggest to you this afternoon that let's eat Ghana and let's grow Ghana, near Ghana. And no by now, no near Ghana, certainly the Ghana man. Can I also say we should wear Ghana? It's enemy by Masami African print kaftan. Mepacho Oshe Alhaji Mahmuda. My international man, Deputy National Organizer, hopeful for this. So wabubuni fugu not here. Also bet me a frakente. Bet me frantuma. Ghana. That is the only way we can prove our identity as Ghanaians. I'm made in Ghana. Mauru said me anumbia joining me on Facebook and chat. Yabako munyina. Na ya church will be bia. Yadru mat boso media wo hanya fe afi. Ni me kename aka gamachekon gamano ni jena kan. Wo wombanye fenya do manye. To His Royal Majesty the King of the Gas State. Ni takite kochuru. Manchadiente. My king, I greet you. Nanana matran kunya wonkra ma munyina. Munyina ya chamu enewie twam cruise. Makwami so onim say yentimi metena in Ghana mata yenchia ya mame. Her Excellency the First Lady. Oba ne ho fessing obaby a. Ewura de wa me mame ntimi nkamfo no bebre. Mami kura mpompanyi mu mpodi mami ni mpanyi mu ni nanka me pese me hwe Lordina at 18 ana wo de Lordina at 22 jo mahama wa ye bado o chi mami ne kode. Certainly she is our mother and we are proud to have Mrs. Dr. Lordina Mahama as our mother. You know she's made in Ghana. What are you mommy dressing? And you Ghana man to mommy bed. She's always made in Ghana. Now muno mommy dini birthday March ibusumia. Kwabi month a day bay. 6th of March. Hallelujah. Mommy, don't worry. I can't mafa kano. Kwami eh. Anasi me yanko asem no. 6th of March. Eye mame Mrs. Dr. Lordina Mahama birthday. Kwami eh. Mafaka. Even the kweme Kempiski ana eva. Don't worry. Kwami so se wafa aduane no. Na kwami no ne de na betu salary na. But happy birthday in advance to our mother. And ma yanko sun kan sam kakran fa ma me ho because wase na de ne biem. Ma me wo position. De bia na osi hospitals. Sata mo so bi nso twepons. Nipa mienu pese flag bearer. Wo mo yerenom na wo madam so be president. One yerenom na from first ladies. Ya mame baako nikun din the President John Mahama onyeska kakra no de ato no wakosi maternity block say ya mame no munya baabi ngo na yenuanom nketo anka sabi wombe wo no omunya nkwa baako nso dem refunding onyeska no de akoto Gucci bag ene ya ponsi say tie nie obeya the first lady na me kura ma tuba akone fo say ankonko Lordina Mahama ho Saturdays bia ma me kura the washing machine is in ma ofie o kwa se ma me Lordina ni ma kakra ho nanka ma me ya kira how to become a first lady o hwe ne media to Facebook ya kwajon kuruma dama and ma yemfase na kese ma NS Kwame Kwache for such a solid production me bana metie wo hwe senia wa hyehye nwom na ase wa bobite bi ne niema otim say Ghana man fena na ewo mu no fantastic production by all standard na Kwadwo Nkrumah nso na dama ya flow on Facebook yenu an mo Facebook me ba cho me ba na ma acknowledge mo but on this day of Ghana month ya shase yen hwe se bibi ya be Ghana ya ehofade be Ghana eduane be Ghana bibi be Ghana enti Kwadwo sanfani ade to so no ma me bio Lodina Foundation Maternity and Children's Facility asu Koko Uti region. Now, it was built and financed by Her Excellency Mrs. Lodina Dramani Mahama. Omanfa Dr. Nama, very well. Yema mi asa na de ni biem. We can hospitals ahodwa adwen papa Mrs. Lodina Mahama. Enyama yema amenom a we be kwa wo so ne mofra we ye oman da achinti. Kakra obenya bia no de ato ho. Na kwame what the akwakoye dwumadi fefefe. Consistently we've been updating you with the progressive reports of the Lodina Mahama Foundation, and maybe one of these days you better commit some time and some few resources na yabu bosso. And you see, young can't wait just to eulogize her because or your president. I don't care about those things. And yeah, mommy, your first lady. But yeah, can because Mami we kura who so a first lady, the kind of humility that she exudes, and exhibits. Say, Mami Lodina Mahama, and Namunche no one kase or your first lady, and will be a friend of Her Excellency. You never believe because she believes she's an ordinary woman. To her. Say nipa benya hoto ana ene botayo to Madame Lodina Mahama say nipa benya hoto. And I am spending time, Kwame, to talk about this great woman because we are in the month of Ghana and she was born in the month of Ghana. And people like this, we should showcase them in this great month. Handing over of the facility financed by the foundation with support from donors and partners fulfills Mrs. Mahama's positive response to a request from the chief of Akroso, Asukoko, a year ago. Now, Osha Senya Yesi Hospital in Nefe, maternity hospital. Yeah, they are two Facebook, brother. Oh, my man, no one can you de. It was women be we a man boyni, utimi to free Ghana, fire we are Ghana man, or Donia de Tena. Ubi bia, Samia me can be and the buefu bia, we are Ghana. Utimi to free Ghana, utimi no mugota muzu. It's your own problem. As for us, no kura yehuni Rebecca. We started speaking about Lodina Mahama when she was in opposition. Ye peskanki ko Rebecca Kufado. Cause ata Rebecca Kufado na power. But Rebecca Kufado no nyahwe. Adia ba ko ye me man credit kolebu okosi enkola children something wo kolebu. Rebecca na ye. Onjini too. But of course, we know how consistent Mrs. Dr. Lodina Mahama has been. It is obvious, she's next to none. The only person here be challenging Lodina Mahama, and of course, I'm sure even Mrs. Lodina Mahama certainly will give that lady reverence because 31st December women, I mean, it was great. And certainly, so I'm not even surprised. Because founder yere, and it's a CNDC father yere. Omine yes ejume. Kwame, be share hospital beds no egumno. Just here. And these are new beds too. These are new beds. Chale mon family ko hospital inside. Kwajo. One for man quantum also your suspect. Fantastic. 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 Lodina Mahama. Fantastic. Lodina Mahama. Fantastic. Lodina Mahama, fantastic. Ansah, Kwame ha me tim hu so bia sobre na no tufi. Wa no be paye o. Ti wanim. Wo me na so tisum. O ti awurade. Na hospital no home. Kwame, unim say I said this is even the fourth time. Oh. And when you're bicycle, where your foundation or sit donor support one more penasem kakran ya demand no ma me betimi dia Gucci bags what's that be me friend Gucci bags ma me betimi dia top pounds aye nanim what's kakra no aye aka ma me kran fam me kente ayi ope supermarket bia ne aka say Lordina kente debi ne de ne say etwa say ni panya hoto and in the mind of Lordina Mahama I'm thinking say ni panya hoto no so I'm say oda or woman nipa na wie pay sana mu no look at this great edifice maternity block from the Lordina Foundation na utien komano a na che se ohina owo sa kro no so ane call Lordina Foundation ka say oh omo hia maternity block bi and a hospital kro no so a year ago Kwame 1 year later your commission and she's not even in power. When I say she's not in power, constitution does not recognize her in any way. Why you bear my it ends there. Why you president it ends there. We need any role in the constitution as a first lady. First lady be anke sika no ba boa no akasa dache ne ma. But I say no. If I gain the whole world and I lose humanity, what is essence of it? Se me Lordina Mahama na me to cars ni nyina me sisi adan ni nyina na ma me bi kwa wofo na one ne bawu a emfa so be na menya se Lordina Mahama anya bia nyankopon aya dom why me first lady and you nyam ben na sin way so the little I have let me give it back to humanity. I am talking about a sensible beautiful first lady because you first ladies ukroma bebre kameno wan kameba Facebook na wadama me Lordina Mahama se na why encouraging me say adwuma wo ye wonko so nye kwa me unim say me by this was not part of the plan ma me Lordina Mahama enkai agenda ho but me to one am say this woman what should we do because sabi yank ugentimi command iska yentimi command hwe the little we can do ne say ye mema Ghana fo hu na the power ye and we want it to encourage others to follow suit. Because can you imagine? And mommy, where they Mr. It is a must. Obana Miken. You cannot say no. You are building hospital or what we call maternity block in every region before you leave. It is mandatory. You can't say no. Every region must witness the signature of the Lordina Foundation. Minya kamutina so check akra. Na masisia. But whatever will happen, yankoswa. So kwam. Yemfa no si First Lady Mahama has done so well. And kwam unim say, maame no adwuma pa wo ye no. Ya ye no ohima in so many places. Baby obeko bi yesema me yensu nkoso ohima. Because obi apen nkoso. And Mamino has lived up to expectation. Everywhere she goes, she sells development. Timikra mama grisa meni mkro mhini kokasa. Achimsino. Na yenya mami Lordina Mahama. Enko swahima. Ni yasu yenya the share of that national cake. Ena mike. First Lady Lordina Mahama and stools in Koswahima of across a Sukoko traditional area in Otil region. Kwame, I'm telling you, say me we show ya me frame kro mhini. These are people we need to push the developmental agenda of our nation. So that is just about that. Mena omase. Na minko Facebook na me acknowledge ebusuafo so aba. Ba kwame those amutie of filling stations yen chawo. Na nuanom ada o many enam wo trotro stations taxi ranks passengers and drivers wo me nyina so yen normase. Nyankopon chiron papa Obed Dennis Kacheku has joined us. Also, welcome to the month of March. Nano Tudako, thank you. AC Goka is here. Also, God bless. Hey, nyafu. Okay, Godfred. Suripi Aqua. Also, great work. Mensa Agbedu is here. Also, please tell President Mahama he should come and complete our e-block for us at Sogakope Sundu Agave, please. Very well. I'm sure, say President Ate. And even Agenda 111 Krampu Asebi. And you're on the chassis also baby. Nti enyo no ane de na omemana kingdom certainly ebehwe say adwuma no na yaye Philemon Bible is here. Fenu Bride Ansah is here. Victor Valdez. Daniel Kuti Maonyo. Freddy Agbenhovi Abrafobia. A lot of messages on Facebook. Let me do this quickly. Kwame Maminti Ejuma Winfrio. Minti Ejuma Winfrio quickly. Na yensaim refi. But Yegusu Kamo said we are made in Ghana. Yura Farouk Al Wahab. Internationally acclaimed diplomat and consultant. Yeka ubia wakwademu Bruni friend experience. Ewo international travel. Ewo the geopolitical world. Ewo security. Ewo peace. Ewo wiasin tiasye fa oman kankro ni nasumdwi ene ahobamba. Uyi papa we free hwa. Minimni akọ friend biem. I am so privileged that we have this great man and an illustrious sons of the soil. Mira, yamwa how yamwa kwaba. We are made in Ghana. Ghana man even the way meaning say you are eating Ghana, you are growing Ghana, you are wearing Ghana.
Inshallah, we'll do it accordingly.
Yeah, was say and yaba hodomu aso dem say dey be yaba opuma yaba besuan de. Penyifo say new de chi nusuan new di kan nante. Ti wo kire yan na enso ya fa bia to yokoto dwem. Me patrol ewiase ewasumdwie. Do you perceive a third world war? O share Russia, Ukraine. O share Israel, Iran, and America, Venezuela. And in the echo cost we are here. Me patrol, my NTS Assassin any free. Na hifani ye drew. Now, are we safe in this world? Ghana, your strategy in your thing.
Ghana's strategy is very simple. Your strategy is neutral to Europe. And to Ghana, your stand had always been very clear. We don't support violence, we don't support fight, we don't support war, but we are for peace. And if it is even any other thing, your military does not raise arms to go anywhere, but we only raise arms to hold and go for peacekeeping. And you are not a combative nation. You are supported by being the overthrow system and now say impose on any system. To Ghana a position.
Na me patrol edie ne nam so ma eye Israel for and Iran for enya America for so bom.
Okay, so I'll take your question one after the other. The first one said, are we foreseeing any third world? The South, the Central, the Latin Americans were under the Spanish colony. So you can say 15% of the world population was under the Spaniards. The French also took a portion and took part of the world. About 20% of the world was also under the French. And then you can say about 30-35% of the world was under British. And at that time, superpowers, mainly the three. And then the American, yes, had always been there, but America didn't have colonies around the world. The Russia took part of the whole Balkan, the Balkan Peninsula, and then the East Europe. Until now, so certain countries were under it. And now, the other part is also Portuguese, so far, the Portuguese peninsulas or the Portuguese nations, namely Brazil being the head of the 5 colonies that were Africa. Until that was how the world was split. It means that Spain, the countries that were under the colonies of Spain, whether you like it or not, you follow Spain to fight. British gets up and says, of course, a guarantee, or Burma war. So Ghana was then Gold Coast. Nigeria was the 3 republic states. Gambia, Sierra Leone, all the countries, East African countries, And I'm saying, you have to take arms and follow your master to go and fight blindly, whether correct or not. But the past 60 years, and 67 years in our case of independence, some countries 48 years, some more than 70 years. Our countries in achieving the colony, and independence, if we all these master colonies, the countries, France cannot go to war, not forcibly in Algeria made in because Algeria no call as a colony, one France back defeat, Ontimen for Tunisia and Contokwa. ontimi mfa Gabon ne nko ontimi mfa Togo ontimi mfa Burkina onukra ne nkasa biom. And there cannot be third world war because there can be extensions or invitations of colonial masters moving along with their colonizers, i.e. in Europe. And then in Europe, after the Second World War, a lot of the Balkan countries, Romania, Hungary, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Poland, and all that, also came out of the occupation of the Russia, of the Federation, some of them. And then also the Balkan states called the Eastern Europe. Obia, independent nation of themselves, master. And I don't see how Russia can talk about the Romania. I don't see how Hungary will follow Russia. And then the Eastern Europe, the Eastern Germany, eastern part of Germany called today, now you're Western Eastern. The east part of Germany, that was also the crisis point. It had also been reunited to the western part of Germany. So there is no pressure. And nobody can ever assume, say, there will be a time, a fight, baba, and then why Omukrano, united enough. The Algeria no Morocco, Omunkasa. Into Algeria, Yanantokwa, Morocco, Timinko, Libya, only Tunisia, Omuntamon Jodiachi, and Morocco, so the Western Sahara, we for our problem. And 20 million uncle support to Mauritania, one in Morocco, and you're nice. And when you look at it from that angle, it's the same thing you cross over to the Latin Americans, even the Latin and Central American, Colombiana, when you Peru, and you're fine. A recap of 2002, Japan World Cup, Senegal, France, and one would say that if it was under the colonial time now, there's no way Senegalese can disgrace the master and on the face of the world. And there cannot be. And the last thing I put on is that territorially, at the time of the First World War, there were territories of the world. Okay. There were maritime boundaries and they open. There were land boundaries and they open. There were land and then a lot of lands. Now people were fighting to go and occupy. But as we speak now, there is no maritime space of even a hand of your a size of your palm. There is no forest in Ubidia. There is no green belt or blue belt or black belt in Ubidia. The only places that it's reserved are the more no man's land of 200 meters in between two countries. And some countries, Ghana and Togo, and going 50 meters. Into your border, you one face back, one face front. And you need no man's land in Ubidia. Across the maritime, there's any Togo for a court. Say, baby, dear Oma Baho. Cote d'Ivoire, dear court. Say, baby, Yomudia, Gambia, and Senegal, one idea. Even the maritime boundaries in Ukraine, there is still an occupation, including the biggest ocean, the South Pacific, where divides the Asia and the South Pacific, Australia, Oceania continent. A vast of about 10 to 15 hours flight non-stop in Ukraine. They have owners of the boundaries, and they know their sizes, they know their portions, they know where they are brought. And see, if you look at it on that balance ratio now, and the countries were independent. The only one country on earth as we speak, our year under colonization, is the West Papua side of the Indonesia, which is between the Papua New Guinea, Vanuatu, in Solomon Island, Kiribati, Tahiti, Micronesia province in Hong Kong. Only one island that anywhere Indonesia for beyond that, every country has a territories, and there is no territory left, so there can be a fight for the territory. I've answered that point. Now,
good explanation though, but also now I was reading somewhere, I don't know what they said, over realist approach to security. Sometimes it's not as if there are no boundaries drawn. It's not as if say well stage now you run a unipolar system where one person will control the rest of the countries. But sometimes human beings nankasano are selfish and greedy, and the state or the countries are the principal actors at the international scene. So Obi to say people were reading meaning into America. Venezuelan president, for instance, they believe say something goes beyond just war, but beyond person siphoning oil if free money are there. And now here blocks be to say breaks Europe near or my forming so China one here no Russia any send but anything na major say bia a bit maybe or how be abano.
No, they cannot. But then even let me add to it.
Okay.
When you talk about BRICS, for instance, as a reference point scenario, China would never jeopardize their economic development against any country to support here or support there. What does it mean? China at the moment is a strong ally of Iran, a strong ally of Russia. Yet, at no given point will China raise arms because they have a lot to lose than to gain. Because China, don't forget that during the Second World War, China was part of the powers, of the Western powers that fought with the Axis powers. The Axis powers of the German Nazis, the Axis powers of Italy, the Axis powers of Ethiopia, other countries now, almost support to the Germans. China was on the part of what? The other part. Japan was even on the part of the Russian, the German Nazi side, fighting for the Germans. In no time than the Second World War, that issue because not China support to America, not China support to English or support to French, any other part English more against the German Nazis called the Axis power. After the World War, Japan was the developed and strong country within the region of Central Asia and then Asia proper. What do? Japan for China China the Germans anchor support. English for China for Kuma Umuno, Omanko support, France anko for support, British, American, Omianko support, and then the China created the territorial communism and they fought their own fight and went through the hardships in the hand of Japanese until they liberated. So China would not jeopardize the economy and support anybody. So geopolitically, they will see alignment and then being closer to a certain kind of a board, a certain kind of a country, a nation, an economy. But they are only interested, their business part to support when it comes to fight. And the same thing is like Russia. Post Second World War, Russia had the dominance on Eastern Europe. Emma will be a colonizer. Russia had never come to the aid. Even when the Yugoslavia as a country was broken up into pieces in 1991, the breakaway republic Israel, and then America, and then Iran. It is very simple. Look at it 2 points.
Okay.
One is a political side, and the second one is the business side of it. Of course, undoubtedly, one of the most smartest, intelligent prime minister of the world, but he has blood on his hand. Who is that? Bibi Netanyahu of Israel.
Yeah.
Historically, in the history of Israel, Netanyahu is the only person who had gone back to back and be the third prime minister, 3 times prime ministerial, i.e. on Hamas. For your information, Hamas raised arms and then raised ammunition and raised guns, battle against their own fellow, the Arafat. Do you understand me? So, when Yasser Arafat was fighting for what is called Palestinian state, and let Israel have a state, so there will be 2-state affair. 2-state affair, then the Israelis, the Mossad, Israeli intelligence, plus the American intelligence, the two of them, and they created what is called a rebellious, insurgent, jihadist, terrorism group. That we call them separatists today, that we call them jihadists today, that we call them insurgents today, that we call them bandits today, called Hamas in 1987. It was established by Yatin, and the money and the country that sponsored that terrorist group was Israel. So what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? They used Hamas to fight Yasser Arafat not to be able to have independence as a state for Palestine. So they were an Israeli protege. They were American protege. And that was not the only one. ABC, Afghanistan against Russia, when the British left Afghanistan, and America took over Afghanistan to fight with Russia. And he engineered the suicide bombing, the human cells, shadowed and supported America. Then they got independent from Russia. Then America wanted to control Mujahideen. They said, no, you can't control it. Leave it. We will give you the power, but hold on. Then America went to create Taliban. That is today America's biggest enemy, to fight Mujahideen. Taliban fought with Mujahideen. the governance, they didn't give it back to America. They retained it. Then America became an enemy. They became an enemy to America. So back to the Middle East Peninsula, it is the same version. Iran had a war in the 80s. Who supported Iran to fight Iraq? America and Israel. Who was Iran's ally? It was America. Who was Iran's ally? It was Israel. They supported them. They used Hamas and gave money. Hamas was then established in what today called Qatar.
Wow.
Who gave them money to establish in Qatar? It was the Israeli government that gave Qatarian government money and gave them a stay to move from there and fight. With the Arafat. So now, after the war, after the fight between Iraq and Iran, when Iraq at that time, Saddam Hussein got angry and then decided that it was getting too much fighting America and Israel, all for them fighting for Iran. That is when he released the gas bomb and gassed Iranians, killed over 3,000 people, burned them to ashes between the Kurdistan and the Iran border. It was then, what did we see after? Right after that, America turned around with Israel, came back to the aid to support Iraq, and then against Iran. Invariably, in the long term, Iraq, they became comfortable, they relaxed at their various positions, Obia respected their own power. What happened again? Then there was another issue of a certain 9/11 and a certain George Bush, and then the creation was that Osama bin Laden, he has nuclear warheads, he has nuclear arsenals, or building nuclear ballistic weapons, etc. So George Bush at that time, coming out to succeed President Rawlings, who from 1993 until he left power, never raised arms, never went to any war. What does it mean? It means that American military, they don't produce guns. They don't produce warheads. They don't produce warships. They don't produce destroyers. Everything that American military has is a private company that develops for them. If it is a military jet, it is how do we call it? Boeing and other companies. They're private.
Wow.
Until Clinton and top equipment to be a free company. And these companies were owned by Ross Perot, Trump, any other American Republicans. They own these things. So they were losing money. Clinton didn't fight. So when George Bush came, George Bush had to create an atmosphere, thereby leading what is called the 9/11 bombing of the American Twin Towers. So there was a justification. How can you, the moment that the Twin Towers was blasted down, less than 5 minutes, what did we see? All the UN embassies, U.S. embassies across there were pictures, even including Accra. Possible suspect, Osama bin Laden, and the possible faces of Osama bin Laden.
That's right.
How does one person have 3 faces? How can one person have 3 faces? How did American know Osama bin Laden was having 3 faces?
Yes.
We should not lose sight on the fact that Osama bin Laden was red carpeted under Clinton, red carpeted under George Bush Sr., red carpeted under Jimmy Carter.
But okay, red carpeted, saying.
He was going to American White House and they give him red carpet like any president visiting there because he was an American ally. You get the point. Now, who are the architects of the 9/11? 9/11 architects: Mohammed Amin, Mohammed Hussein. I asked these boys, how did they end up in Florida flying school holding green cards and American passports? American used them for Afghanistan war.
Wow.
American used them for other places. So the moment that Osama turned around against America, then they declared him the world's most wanted fugitive. So when the 9/11 happened, then George Bush had come to power. So there was a recipe for America to go to war. There was a recipe and appetite for the companies that have produced weapons and weaponry, artillery fire, ICBM, warheads, ammunition, arms, warships, gunships, anything in our na call. And yes, Jumaba. And let's go after Osama bin Laden. Let's go after Saddam Hussein. So the issue of nuclear, that was the issue going to Saddam. Today, like Iran, the Bacho Umko to Saddam Kuno, Omanya one bomb, Omanya one nuclear war, one warhead. They didn't get anything. So sorry? After no we see from here, they knew there was nothing. Then they declared what is called a regime change. So they rounded around groups and people, opposition members, of course, president, opposition. Then they used the opposition, let's fight, bring you to power. Yes, Saddam died. Till today, Iran, maybe to President Trump. No? In no time, NOUSU, the Hamas history, the Hamas story, and then turn around against the Hamas people. And then use the Hamas. But the Israeli Knesset, which is the Israeli parliament, constitution is at any given time, Israel cannot have what is called election. At that time, Israel, Israeli Defense Force, Israeli Air Force, and the Mossad, that is the intelligence community of Israel. Nobody can go to party. There's nothing a party. Partisan approach, everything is grounded. And Bibi Netanyahu, the South strategy, as the only prime minister who had been in Israel for 3 times, not Godemaya, not Shimon Peres, not Ehud Barak, not Ishak Rabin, not Ariel Sharon, not any of them, So he being a smart man, under Obama, he had a rift with Obama because Obama was too clever, who never gave him the chance to use America to fight Hamas, to prolong his stay. And then after Obama, somebody called Trump. 2016, Trump came. Trump is going to commit American troops for your advantage and commit American money.
He was drumming for world peace.
It is a problem. He fought with Bibi Netanyahu and insulted him. They were not seeing eye to eye.
Yes.
Whereas Bibi Netanyahu came to White House and walked up and insulted them. He's not an intelligent president that Americans should tolerate on. And Kwabena said 2016. 2020 came Joe Biden. Joe Biden was pro-Israel because he's a Jewish. Now what did we hear? Mr. Trump, as you see Joe Biden, Sleeping Joe, said, Sleeping Joe was using and committing American defense budget to support Israel, and he would not do that stupid. That was his message in 2024. So 2024 was the biggest campaign why President Trump says, I'm stopping all nonsense American budget we spend on the defense and concentrate home-based economy. At what point? What have we seen? Maduro falling as a victim. Nicaragua, he is there. And the very day that he was taking him up, he said, I'll make sure American companies will go and take over and sell the oil. Now we're talking about Iran.
Yes.
They pushed the agenda. 2018, when it was the same man, Mr. Trump, America walked out of the table of the discussions with nuclear, that it was nonsense. Europeans were not supporting. He will not waste American time. They should leave Iran. If Iran is destroying other parts of the world, it's their business. He walked out, Mr. Trump, 2018. And then Sleeping Joe came, and then he started supporting Netanyahu to do what he was doing. So when Netanyahu realized that the administration was coming to an end and the Israel revisit his criminal actions and will visit the issue of Hamas, say, Omar be abducted Israelis. Israelis nationals. They are going to chase after them. So let's look at this from this scenario. The world was best intelligence not existent in any part. Not the British Scotland Yard, not the German Kripo, not the G9, not the German K9, not the Holland intelligence, not the British Scotland, none of them, not Brazilian Hawk, none of them. The best is Mossad. And Tibusamu said, Israel ne dahon, Gaza, Hebron, West Bank, any that place, Gaza Strip on, Kwabena Hamas, country in any port, on Israel in the country in the port, any police station, any post office, any BBR, and Hamas for boys, only Kwabena, caterpillars, excavators, graders, two assassins in a network. Who did that for them? Israel and built the tunnels, and I don't build him a mara for boys now to be count. Don't be asked what they know, baby, that was the big catch. Now, we must start with Israel. What Timko invaded Iran. Etimko who baby Ishmahania or Timko somewhere or who baby or Timko Kumomu with precision without failing. And then when Timon was here, two Nikronas, Abidu Salam, Jerusalem. One who so much do Elat, one who so much do Hebron, one who so much do Beersheba, one who so much do Tekana magazine in Israel. How was it possible?
Do you perceive an insider threat?
The insider threat is just that Israelis, they created Hamas, and then Israelis used Hamas. They use Hamas for Bibi Netanyahu to escalate, and all Israeli prime ministers, except Yitzhak Rabin, except Shimon Peres, except Ehud Barak, except Golda Meir, Obama, all of them use Hamas to prolong their stay in power.
Wow.
And it is not different from what Mr. Netanyahu is doing. And the surprise 10 is them and he being supported by Mr. Trump, who undoubtedly is the American first most businessman coming to the throne of the United States since 1946 as the business president. And what do you mean by that? Wall Street, as we speak, and Wall Street, a quiet day. We get them, Juma Koso, and Nana Jobia Bonitai. Why? Mr. Trump also offices in Wall Street. That is where the world trade oil, because the Iran, Iraq, Iran, American, Israel, the Strait of Hormuz, where all the vessels transporting the oil from the Peninsula, Arabian world to Europe or to the African side, and then subsequently to the Pacific, to South Australia, they have to go through the Hormuz Strait. That Hormuz Strait, Iran, so then the biggest holding area, also the defending or cutting off. In cutting off, there will be a shortage of oil. And this is where the business is. America will enough oil at home. This is the time they sell the oil. America, Hong Kong, over 40 years, they don't pump price of an oil more. And who is going to lose? Ghana will lose. Who is going to sell the oil? Oil market. Who are the oil market? The Wall Street Journal boys. That is what is happening.
And that will be a serious impact.
But that is exactly what they are doing, because right now Iran knows. Say he has been an ally of Qatar. He has been an ally of Israel and America. When he said America will base on Israel or Qatar, or base on Kuwait, or base on Saudi Arabia, or base on Jordan, or base on UAE, or base on all the countries except Yemen waters. What do you mean? What do we see? So how can a Middle East nation, Arabians, republics, call them the monarchs, the kingdoms America penetrate base, now put all of them together against their own brother in the Persian Peninsula, a country that is called Iran. Into turning the Muslims, the Arabs, and then the Persians, one against the other. So therefore, Iran feeling said, if America is launching the warhead from Bahrain, from Oman, from UAE, from Qatar, Kuwait, from Saudi Arabia, on the launches, also they reach out to destroy anything that it can hold. Now, isn't interesting? Say, on no United Arab Emirates, as small as they are, only a size of army about 5,000. A year then with a strong air force or war interceptors. A year then a Qatar. The population in Qatarians is 250,000 and all 1.2 million foreigners made up of what? Bangladeshi, Indonesia, Singaporeans, and then Southeastern Asia, Philippines, Thailand, Bangladeshi. And in those countries, only form the greater part of population as workers, guest workers. What does it mean? Find the feed. Question number one. The soldier ni baku biari akoko baku kra na $5 and koko say no win a day. Why the ma woman shoe no? Who washes their clothing, laundries? Who does their internet? Who does this? Who does this? So you are keeping 40,000 men on 2 vessels and then 12 ships also around. Look at the money called logistics that go in there, and you come to bear in mind, say, the same thing here. And this year, I use it as a reference because the government or my contract. Go and supply water. Go and supply chicken. Go and supply Yamau, even conflict supply Krana. Papa, they will supply US troops. I want to so conflicts that you know your money, who owns those companies. So that is the business aspect of it. And it is not a fight that you see, it's nakedly, it's just a fight. It is a fight they claim is an what? Operation American call it Epic Fury. And then the Israelis are calling it Operation, what's the name? Netanyahu. Yes, Lions Roar. That is the 2 operations. But the point is that surveillance aircraft from the NAM Srohon, any bombardments with precisions, American human. But because American in Israel, they train on one machines. And with the American Air Force, and the Israeli Air Force got an American machine anymore. Or here extra training.
Okay. So we didn't do that.
What with them F-22 bombers, MiG-35, F-35 bombers, Israeli pilots and their fly machines, America for the SRD. But that is why we share Gerald Ford now, or as many as more than 23, 24 aircraft in so. And now call the American destroyer vessel is Barino, or as many as 90, 40 in the back and a front near 50 aircraft and so. These are the destroyer bombers, flying jets. America for any territory need to say Israel for. Then give it to Israel. It's woman a name baby. Or no what that coordinated attacker or timid me no can say who phone the crowd. Israeli can now shoot you through your phone.
It can shoot you through the phone.
But how did they kill Ishmael Hania? How did they kill someone? How did they kill Abdul Disson? As if all of them, of course. And to say who location go do phone now. Who a bodyguard as a defense minister of Iran.
That's right.
So they kill you through your bodyguard because maybe our bodyguard will be our
phone.
Put them the plan Israel betima penetrate.
Wow.
Look at from 1987. Look at from 2012. Israel precision of killing high profile Hamas, Hezbollah leaders, etc. And not forgetting about the operation, 12 days operation. They prepare this ground of this fight, 12 days. Iran. And started some bombarding, and kukum, your friends say, Hamas for an hour, and kukum Iranian generals, and kukum nuclear scientists no more. What did they do? They were doing that to build, say, now, they wanted to test the Mossad intelligence on the ground. And the Mossad intelligence on the ground with precision. How did they get to penetrate into Iran, which has offered so sophisticated intelligence? How did they do that?
Sorry, Mr. Farouk, is it because it said the Jews no control the much resources or if like the economy of America largely? It's in America for to mean Israel I'm surprised.
You will never separate the two, so leave it like that.
Why are they together like that?
Because the American power, called the American government, called the American Congress, called the American Senate, it is controlled, whether you like it or not, by the Jewish. And it is controlled because the Jewish community that went to America, all of them involved themselves, apart from the gold and then the business, the oil, the diamond, Bibianum, they had the money to sponsor the politicians. And until most of their family, their children, their grandchildren, and they emerge having people like Joe Lieberman, McCain, all of them into you bet see say on your Irish Jew, a Jewish, and we're politicians. So no matter how so a Democrat, and then no matter how so a Republican, when it comes to the Jewish identity, let us not forget, in the country and the state of Israel, their population there is not up to 4 million or 5 million. Conservative calculations, but Israelis outside Israel, including the Russian Israelis, Swiss Israelis, Austrian Israelis, German Israelis, French Israelis, British Israelis, that the Irish one, there are more than 15 million around the world. So they command wealth and they mobilize wealth and they instruct America which way. So if you're a presidential candidate and you want to win power, they determine the pace and they detect the pace. So when you come to power, they tell you what you want to do and what they want you to do. So
in all this, United Nations,
there's no United Nations. Some of us have been a meeting translator. There's no United Nations. Stop it. Some of us have been a meeting translator.
There's no United Nations.
United Nations is an association of wish and will. Because if you are, of course, undoubtedly, their country director can arguably challenge me. Because United Nations is there. We have multilateral agreements. We have UN Charter. We have UN agreements. We have UN conventions. We have UN declarations. All of them point to the fact and the basic of them. The article, the UN 70, the 140, all of them tells you, Sovereign nations with their sovereignty rights must be respected. International law, bilateral, multilateral, must be respected.
But of course, there are treaties and world conventions that they and in any case, your president Krakow, Echo UN, was it there's no United Nations? Are there even a council?
Your president Kwa, he goes there to speak UNGA, on the UNGA, United Nations General Assembly. What does it? He cannot initiate policies. Ghana was made as President Mahama, as President Kufuor, as our Ghanaian president. We are one of the countries in Africa first to speak on the UN General Assembly because of Ghana political neutrality. We are beyond that. 2022, Ghana was invited to be part of the UN Security Council as a special guest. As non-permanent member. Also twice. Most African countries in Ubida. When Ghana went 2022, the first speech by the Ghana resident UN Assembly, UN rep, Uncle Meki a statement 2022, Joe Biden was also hammering the Hamas. So Ghana said that Ghana is a two-state affair between Israel and then what? Palestine. What did we see? There was a certain president called His Excellency Nana Danko Akufo-Addo, Israeli ambassador no in Cantonment or one Nanado. So I'm talking to the Ghana rep who goes to arrest him. Where is the UN? Look,
an African president is one. I bet you know.
You cannot. The African president who called the bluff of the UN, who was indicted as war criminal, who was indicted by the ICC that he was to be arrested, international arrest warrant. When you are going to the UN and it's for General Assembly, regardless of the fact that we are internationally wanted, red alert, ICC power chono. If your flight goes to Washington or your flight lands in New York and you are using the Holland Tunnel from LaGuardia Airport or JFK Airport, your Okano says Slepusi Street of America and you're approved for the UN representative, UN participating country, president or head of state. Okay. Gaddafi, he was going. Americans declare Fidel Castro wanted for 25 years, but when he was attending the UN General Assembly, he went with his military uniform. You can arrest him because he will not slip off. And so the Holland Tunnel, what is called UN, your friends, the 6th and 7th Avenue of the Americans, UN Avenue. One nam sakwa so a won't mention. But what are they? One nam sakwa sa yenchen. Omar Bashir, Obakaya, they declared him wanted, Sudanese prime minister, president, wanted for 20 years. America for declared wanted. ICC also declared wanted. Oman red alert. Declared and say fugitive, blah blah blah. But UN General Assembly back to back is proposed the America. That won't mention. You can arrest him at the chamber in the UN. Neither can you arrest him on the street of America, the 6th and 7th Avenue.
And declare now what you mention red alert here then.
And it's our bronze and also a Quacotadia or bronze there, American for Bechino.
Okay.
So Queens Boulevard or Bechino. So 50th Street, Rockefeller Center or Bechino. Or Trump Towers or Bechino. Nemo manam tunnel nimu. That's all free, a unit or Quadia. That's America. There is a Kwakujan Kwamaniko. You see, what politics is sweet.
But now we are not applying common sense in this.
There's no common sense. That's what I'm telling you. The UN and Casano. Yes, when what is called the Holland Tunnel, and what the free JFK Eba. So I prefer Deegan Express Road, Queens Boulevard, or for home Bechino. And one America for now, so number man policing and patrol. A man motorcade did not baby UN chamber. And who did that person is so wanted. Isn't it not interesting? It is interesting scenario. So the dynamics of geopolitical analysis, the Israeli-American, it is political, it is a business. Unfortunately, President Trump, the access, ability, and then the reason of going to Iran, he sat with Oman as negotiators. And Omokasa a day before, on Thursday, on Tuesday, on Friday. Then he told them on Friday evening, said, he's walking out. Said, well, yeah, 2018. Omon prepared deal or no deal. And he will sit. Meanwhile, the Europeans not advising and say, Tali, Sa fight we ni sa nyama we no. E wo hia onjai. Or say America will protect their interest. Where is the interest? America will protect her citizens. Iran will go to bomb America. America will protect this. Iran will go be America. And terrorists be our America. Iranian. Its interest no be protected. They just want a justification. Into that justification, and they call what they call. But what do? We started bombardment. Now they have elevated to call what is called invasion. What are they saying? They are encouraging the opposition of the government. Say, won't take over the government. And to take over the government, then they have to apply invasion. What does it mean? They have to go on the ground.
I think we've lost him. It's fine, very well. So, Honorable Farouk Al Wahab and Anna Etrinko. But by far, I think say Nkoma one year bono okay, some international policies there. But the come say Yami Aduma watchna and I was East elections no so koso intene yebedi hujuma. Ye so say Director of Elections NDC Madi Gabriel Mohammed Etrinko. But currently ma menkwa homa no so na me ne Yira Duncan Amwa Executive Secretary Duncan Amwa Executive Secretary Emma Kopek entering Komo Mekaise Honorable Eduji Tamaklu MP boss Edebetu just said we have some 3 weeks reserve. But Yemisa from the expert point of view say Nekrakwan say Honorable Yamwakwa about the citizen show na Krafen.
Senior, my main also na menchia wetie for so every
yo etie for dase yenso ye dase ne adwuma pa moye esum Ghana mepacho eye Iran Israel entokwa America de ne ho agimu ya ana ye bubu ho se oman se bitafrache yenim se eba fa nwo a ye didi dwuma kese pa e wo man mu na ade ba ko a ye to so a affect almost every facet of Ghana's economy eye fa nwo ana yenso yenim se eye Iran de fa nwo do efiri ho pa ye hwe insunsuanso a ebetimi enya ewo Ghana ye economy so na obi a wakwadamu ewo the oil side no ye bisa wo entokwe ye ekosui does it stand any risk of affecting us having in mind near MP boss Beckham said we have 3 weeks reserve of fuel.
Amenda wasibio fango say a ton across the world and so to be what Europe no be to be or India normally the benchmarks they are entirely different markedly different so what is a flat ton finished product and now WTI and the Brent figures they are figures that give an indication of how much commodity and to Middle East you can Krobit is Kuwait,
okay.
Oman, Iraq, Iran, UAE, Saudi, and Krakasia almost our proven reserves. Say, oil na. I hear ye ebu. Proven reserves, Iran is number 3 in the world. Or you're just behind Venezuela and Russia. US the answer, but no yet that proven. Iran is a lot.
Wow.
Into Ekobane say Omoankasa Ejina Akono. I don't know how to say it anyway. Now, the strategic part of transport, air water transport, the other kind is a choke pointer. Most of the cargo are a free UAE, a free Oman, some gas from Qatar, some amount of fuel, maybe free Iran and Qatar, would all have to go through a 33-kilometer channel. If that channel cargo 90 million for more on a normal day, 22% of global supplies and anchor. Now, Mejidi said 22% is such a huge number.
That's right.
over 100. And it's a 78 to 75% na abano. Sika ebidi echire no edoso. Ese ne senke nyane na then you will get some what you call market equilibrium or some stabilization. And where we are no, the problem is that dodo na nanka nyina ye hwehwe ebeko China, ebeko India and other parts of Asia no. It means that China, India, Asia, Asian countries will now have to come and look for the same fuel from the same market. I mean, no, whether I say Yakoto China, Yankoto China, Yato Venezuela, Yato Iran, the countries in Anko Mubinyas are supplies, no, Anko Musika back to the market, Emetobino. So almost they will come to the same market. I mean, no, to also come and force prices upwards. A free Miminida Homache when the war broke out. ABC and oil prices across the world, no? We've seen about 12% abedaso. Over WTI at current, it drew bare $85. Over Brent, it drew 85, but Brent near largely Europe, over WTI, Western Texas Intermediate, no? And on the number $78 a barrel. And from 67, no, it's looking very, very, very tight at this point.
Okay.
Air cost, no? The refinery bill Europe are also so to be a beton. Now, or no, echo enra. And now, na free 67 number bear $78, $80. Know that or Chinchin Muria a Bonaba Kosro. And that is where Menewo in Ghana no may end up paying more because Ebiane Kotoya DNA free Amsterdam Hall, Rotterdam Hobby, Edia Bregana for to use. So Yabeko na boni be abeka we will definitely have to pay more. In petrol no. And pay sorry, OMC snibe de biaka hodada. But that would not have much to do with the war.
Okay.
I know war no who science work a clear be an eba in the beginning, no. And no and then but war nankasa a who science what there. Meji this my own watching me no be before it will reflect on our pump prices. Yes.
Now how do you assess the position of the MPA boss, Ghana, your reserve bit might take in for at least 3 weeks? Would you say, Ghana, yayadi in that regard, and now as a country, as this match, it 69 years, match is deserved?
On a normal day, I may avoid it commenting on MPA because if you know what we'll go to say, oh, it be an okra, open MPA, as some open ejuma. But the truth is this: it is not Ghana reserve. Reserve na ya what is here no. BDCs, almost debt stock, and now say almost reserve margins. We have Jumekwa, a friend is a boss, bulk oil storage and transportation. Enka on a normal day in Papua. I was your pair Sika, your friend is reserve margin fund. Now yet to be na boss this year as all mine. So no matter what happens on the international market, no, on mine nankasa it will be. Or torn the say be $500 or $600 a metric. And ye to be a DSC. And also arena a call $800, $900, and even $1,000 a metric. Now or mine is look. Ye enjoy mamon kotumu because ye kotu petrol more effective and yama be Ghana so born kosroa a si for more I mention. And think our mine could have said look your reserve ye DSC na yem pese a born be kosruntino. We can put out the reserve at a predetermined price. And the year can say a petrol in country, no. Hey, a private capital petrol. A BDC is petrol makofaba. A oil trading companies petrol makofa aba obeka ne say omonton wiye enti ebi wo ho you cannot expect the private capital no say ebo na akosoro this week now next week I was a ekosoro obeka che BDC ne say more to move because never had a dance and ebo na ekosoro they will still go up. And there are two separate things being discussed. There's not going to be shortage, or because a shortage, but no, because Omaino there's enough fuel. But Obizo Kacho said Omaino kasa fuel, Omaino reserve and the air car. That is also not true because many workers will be that boss. Say almost reserve and almost strategic reserve margin or on ASA. They will not be able to account for anything. And we should rather be moving towards a situation that on mine bedroom home say young physically be fancy. Na young tofu or nibizo so fancy na. Also, Rena Iran so on Tiasi and Tokano Bacono Afeba con Afimienu. Na a bonus round a beco at least open yet be a ODC ya. Open to me at their whole the prices no. Kakra to such a time that won't me or debut. Now I can say, oh, dear, dear, just a funny and I enter the because it's protracted. But as I speak with you, dear, you want a much shortage, but we also don't have as on mine say, yeah, DNA into no matter what happens with price, a born on Koshoro.
Okay,
those two distinctions would have to be
But it's Mr. Donkadam, Osha send here Konedia. Not just a Konedia one here, Bebaso, because was it yesterday? Almost were in the new supreme leader of Iran. Is that right? Now, Osha or no Sunni Dimina and Tokwane the Ombabku. What are the strategies I always used to say? You bet me dear Guaquamuso, my, relative to your fang on some. Send a bear alpha, bad effect to be in my economy.
No crane say you will be a friend is or buffers. And now say and you can do to hold or economy no until back 1993 and when you focus now since 92 say you see bust in fact before 93 class 63 honor baby. Now, yeah, the Tamoyo refinery, and so the first president, and so the Nedia, Abetoho, say, yes, see a refinery. Yes, see. Unfortunately, no. Instead of saying, you better enhance or improve on those facilities or structures, we've not been able to do that. In general strategy as a country, no. Doesn't seem to have, have been very good over the years. Boss, I bar recently. Now say Ubekaya, I cost some boss today, Eddie Airborg energy storage. When I hear these things, I cringe a bit because boss, the core mandate in there, see tanks I can see. Is that bulk oil storage? Bulk oil storage. And then to develop store, to be near store. They hear them monanka. But it drew over damage or say, boss, they are there, boss, and your profit. That's not why you set up that institution. And some of the things now over the years, I think that we need to go back to them. National refinery, investing in the refinery. Don't make us think that, when I thought about a year, Juma, near boy and some, who be just a tower in the good market in this one. You will not get any proper numbers, because for here, investment, over $200 million we have to put in there. We are not putting in the investment. We are only up for the frenzy. Juma. Oh, boss, so Juma. But what exactly are they doing for Menewo as a strategy in terms of Sorina and Iran, any Israel upon the now Saudi so be akoka no nti ono so ne na to ahye so to ono so ne oil ne emba prices will go. What is our strategy? I don't think that we've looked at those issues carefully or well enough.
Ma ye na wase se abribia ye bo pumu a ubi opuma ye wase bro.
Mr. Medase na machiawo ene wetie for nso. Money.
Yo, adwuma paye. Yera Duncan Amoa Executive Secretary Emma Kopek eba fango ho nsɛm a ɔwakwada mu pa ne sɛ ɔne yɛn eco school enawie. Ye hwɛ sɛ yɛbɛkɔ homa ne so na yɛ ne Alhaji Sinari atwe nkɔmɔ egu so puso homa ne yɛsaka no a yɛde no emema mu. Of course ɔyɛ ambassador to Saudi Arabia. Ɔhwɛ ne yakɔ ya ɔhyew bɔ ne bi akɔfa hɔ kakra. Yɛ Ghana fo nso a egu hɔ no yɛpɛsɛ yɛhwɛ the state of our Ghanaians in Saudi Arabia, even close to Iran. I know some more the rule, but of course, waiting actually in every. We also look forward to be speaking with the Director of Elections, Emma NDC, Honorable Mahdi Mohammed Gabriel. It's answer Wachina, Anna Baba Jama, Wunya 75% no Ewa Yawasu East. And to Wachina, I mean, Ghana for you 75% credit. So I don't know, it's according to Global Info Analytics. Musa Dan Kwabad Meno, I think that he should get above 80%. Ufia Juma, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Ediagua Kwanswa, it's obvious. Sir Ochina, he should carry the day more than 80%. MPP, a pressure group, at this going to be a political party. To Ochina, the NDC, Anna, the Francano. Him. In fact, the whole Ayawasu East is going to turn green tomorrow. The whole Ayawasu East. Now me saying journalists for nyina NDC for. Saying teacher for nyina NDC for. Market women for nyina NDC for. School for nyina NDC for. Saying bankers nyina NDC for. Doctors nyina NDC for. Nurses nyina dani NDC for. Engineers nyina asofo nyina NDC for. Me say na nanu matena nkunya. Ahemfo nyina NDC for. Look, akonfo nyina NDC for. Nkakwaku bronsamumba. There are two political parties in Ghana now, NDC and the rest. And you know, one joining NDC there and the minim baby. But friends have also joined us on Facebook. They have sent their better say. I could you now come on says I mean you would the brain late. And the way no nimbu. If I womb. Oh, enti me pacho you review scratch for winyamia kwadwonkroma se sia no de breme wo de kwadwo be ho adwuma would edu just let's all remember our brothers and sisters in the war areas. Eric Gary is here. Patrick Emingechi says, good afternoon. Thank you, bro. Nibi Okai, my brother. It's a very interesting. I'm enjoying the show. I learn new things anytime I watch this program. NOD for NDC, National Deputy Communications Officer. What's the whole bra? We say it's only the Israelis who have their own police in the UK. And this from Wood Energy. When it comes to America and Israel, the UN is useless. Kwame Frimpong says, Israel used AI to build autonomous weapons through phones. We say greetings, honorable doctor, prophet, professor Nana Utu. Doctor and prof, we by now. I papa no saying Jina Pomuni happening. Well, soon no by Untiminyafi, doctor no dear. Trinimano say the applicant are still facing the challenges. With the greatest respect, Interior Minister should do something about for. I think is it the police or may send ya no cry honestly. Maybe these guys are doing their best, but I was worried. NDC for the BIPC, we say a lot of our people be deprived. Masa, and before buy no more Mkrofo Google police, or me a Ghana for no more Mkrofo Google military, almost so be called customs, so be called immigration, Anna and Pim, or more Mabunajuma, Yen Baya. I feel the Yaba Betchelena, Koyusu camera, you free moi, you disqualify, and I adding. So you end up disqualifying a lot of people that we suffered with during the elections. During the elections, a lot of people, the grassroots who suffered with us in the thick and thin, you'll be disqualifying a lot of them. And to maybe ask people for no gusu yejuman, then this for no gufie. So in my party, that they will not grow millionaires. And I have been deliberate about this on radio. Say NDC for grow millionaires. Give contract to your people. Grow millionaires than they are Ghanaians. Today, BM people position and here for Omunye's Ghanaian campaign. You say the February. No, Be deliberate about it. Every branch, grow somebody from there. Grow millionaires, because party will never stay in power forever. NSCP be crowd. NDC, upa the 40 years. Oh, yeah, then, nipa de home. But some time, how would you have built your people? Nika sense mo amunti. Any DCs, ni MCs na more down. Create jobs. Sika na nyamudia. Ya nyi pia taxes no. Yenkasi abre. President Mahama is just one person. Or no crumple one person. He has done so many appointments per the dictate of the constitution. So many appointments as one person. Oh no, we a minister. Assess yourself. You do better as a minister. 1 year ni, 2 months ni. How many grassroots guys and Mr. Minister, would me, assess yourself. Crofona, we know what painting one nam tentenia, train so quiet campaign say, Yenina yemwa, a buy in a bidina, Sisia woody, and Crofon, you move, Palm Muslim Masano. Bisa say, in Yuma he, and Mr. Minister, what Pama on Crofon. We a member of parliament, we NDC, member of parliament, me, and Crofo deal with chi, Ebre ye, say, Fomo no Mkoya Koma, or Matia Hashu. Besina, you do be a member of parliament. How have you helped those people? I don't see a change on Mahama. Can't we create jobs even small with our common fund? We are MC. We are the president of the municipal. We are DC. We are the president of the district. And maybe I'll say, send yetima creative jobs. Boys now, any girls now, branch members, branch executives, constituency members, one more boy in the campaign. How are we helping them? They be a mekaimu 2028. And ya both one year campaign. The same people that we think we are neglecting will be the same people we watching in the face. Some time, friend no ama senior untimin carry because unya power no one. And we kasa no kure which them na mo say, ye mumuni ya tamfo. That's your own cup of tea. That will be catch them say me contest it. National Deputy Communications inti. Aya ma menka masa no kure de ka kanokure. Men ma contest bien si no kure kan kanokure. It's better so be kanokre. Now the emfa position in mount. Since we be cantro, now be nyasa position no. No some dahina asiagina. Be truthful. If it's in the will of God, send me over by communications, whatever, it will come to pass. No man born of a woman can change it. Yama yen crop for no ninja kakra. And Kwame, adi my main country, Mr. President, and we will make sure say my melody na Betty. This reparation agenda no President has started. Then me can say let's watch the security of President John Dramani Mahama well. Let's quadruple the security of President John Dramani Mahama. Beyond the technicalities of the ground, any security in Penyufua, Minu Medin Komono, I have had no less than 3 major prophets I trust are from me, of some external kidnap. I shouldn't have said this, but it's important I say this, any Bidu President want them. Please quadruple the security of President John Dramani Mahama. Well, and Nkrumah started it. Abrofum paid the independence of Africa. I'm telling you. And anybody in history was sorry to fight for the independence of Africa, they take him off. They take him off. Is it Patrice Lumumba? Is this Julius Nyerere? Is it February? They take the person off. They take him off. Is it Kwame Nkrumah? Is it Samora Machel? You go and find history. All those people were sorry for the independence of us. They take the, so Mahama has a reparation agenda. National. Abrafunim say, other African countries will learn. Say, see, have a gold board. Other African countries will do that. It means that we will not be shipping gold in raw state. You see, add value. Obroni to hell. The moment you get independent, that will be the start of the collapse of the economy. Please, let's protect President Mahama. National security, in fact, me making serious. Na miyanka de nakachi. Ma mekwa omaniso. Na mene brapeni Sofo Tanko Rashid Computer, a deputy director of elections and IT NDC. Na oni among komoto emfa ochina ayawasu east by elections na ebekoso no honorable wadama why busy in so siga na hodo nti woni ebekasa mohamu akwaba o haya krefem wa dumo ye ho de ntisa twere kronkron na won so
yes boko busy se sia de final deployment wo ayawasu east because echina epede ye win with wide margin
pia you man de ye nim so tia se de da enti ye mu ho no mu a ye ho no mu na enya abotoyam Me patrol at the end of Honoma, it was in terms of preparations. Senior kind, there are some deployment, but grounds to say, security in some to say, or Tina about one cry, a chassis, Bribane, Yabepong, Bribane. I feel message be Honoma and this if we trust on Baba to Abana, and I feel grounds to say, do you think you are taking the day tomorrow?
Well, I can tell you, as you see, they are opposed to phone, they've taken over the constituency. Almost deployment is fantastic. I mean, they did it in this in Akotia, and as I say, almost second chancellor, they will repeat same in Ayawasu. So in terms of security, I can assure you, it's solid. You can even see them currently today. I've been in the constituency. We are still doing some work because it's fasting month. Most of our work will be done in the evening. Training party agents, any observers, any supervisors, training mom. As I said, deployment, so after that one, I can assure you, NDC is ready for battle tomorrow. We are winning the constituency with wide margin because he will say, His Excellency John Dramani Mama, constituency, they are living testimony to the good governance of His Excellency John Dramani Mama, and therefore they will deliver verdict for the NDC. And I will say global analytics. Latest one, almost say NDC, 75%. That tells you that we are doing something positive in the constituency.
Now, me patrol, who should the mean to say NDC for Nankasa? Vim, oh,
solid. Solid. Vim, solid.
Global Info Analytics, almost say you carry the day by 75%.
And no, because there is vim in the constituency. Oh, the Nipa Nemo constituency na ya wasu issue. Nima hono. They are nice people and they know when a government is performing, they know how to go about it. I want to say no, last rally no.
Yes,
you saw that chief of staff, any government paying for women no more.
That's right.
And they were in the constituency. Now the whole of leadership of the party and government officials are in the constituency as we speak now. Everybody is moving. Trying to sell the good works of the government.
More fire.
As I said there, because we are not going to leave any stone unturned. We want to beat the MPP and beat them well.
More fire. More fire. More fire. Day na hon mama when Baba Tuaba, a foot will be home.
I said no, I can say tomorrow that they should vote for a better government. Of course, it's the NDC rep who is going to represent them, and they know that the NDC will always deliver. And so I'm not surprised. By this time, you would have known that the NDC has won the election.
It's obviously so. We thank you so much, sir.
I'm grateful.
That's my boss, Sofu Tanku Rashid, Computer Deputy Director, Elections and IT, NDC. Very well. I think that we are basically in common as it, but I can't last interview. Alhaji Sinari, ambassador to the Republic of Saudi Arabia, and anybody in Como. They heard the states of Ghanaians. Now, they are not making on President Mahamano. Please, let's take his security serious. Don't joke with what I have said. I love him so much. Me pesa be long story. What the fa have ibi kwana nkudu. Ma kan su de oye dey president how anya we kra me ma me beti aka kire no. Ma me lodi na beti aka kire nti. And ma me one more thing, a phone can be. Unim say this helicopter a crash here. No. President Mahama was supposed to be on board. Okay? And Madam Lodina Mahama saved the day. The details, we'll leave it. So what addition they added is that Mama Lodina, the day you feel say ukun tu kwany, okra entiasi and manen sign. Na ni oye nyina echi Ghana for krabese aka so onye hwe. Ni enkroma ye nyina. Ni enkroma ye nyina. Tu kwa enkroma. But Mr. Remo, the security of President Mahama, don't joke with it. I am learning Colonel Abdullahi, who are responsible for president security in Yonkwa. Colonel Adonting also can president security. Colonel Abdullahi and Colonel Adonting, who are responsible for the security details of Mr. President. Please sit up. And some of you are making sit up. I don't know where you, but don't renege on your job. Sit up and make sure say no more be money back or mumie 2, no more be 2, mumie 4. From today, wear the cap of eagle. Because we need President Mahama alive. And Yamana Warrior, can you imagine if he stays for 4 years? And he's staying for forever though, but he ain't protected President Mahama. But be your day, reparation agenda, Obroni. So no declare. Say slavery is the worst sin against humanity. Then when the history books. Beyond that, you pay reparation justice. We had the Hiroshima, Nagasaki bombing. America has gone there to do those reparation. But why not Africa? They have reasons. Let's protect our president. So that's just about it. Babe din komo. But omunya no anka ye ida se be ko break na few salifu is here or the not semwa but more of love. Augustine Kujo amo osenana about the spirit of President Mahama. Please, can I have your contact? Kwajo papa you also me contact hwene you know na fa inbox no. Why? And fan two so fa inbox no. That's it. Kingsley Kujo osenana no to talk sense to the selfish appointees. Would they just say thank you, let the truth lead you, and that will be your motivation to the top. Eric Danta or the NDC is so wicked to the party members. I'm sure they are not too wicked. They will help out, and don't worry. Sisiana, it seems I said they are wicked. They will help. In fact, the NDC and people the difference from senior. I'm telling you, maybe friend people for free. See, when I'm telling you, say NDC is better than MPP at Jimmy D, they will sort everybody out. And until I move in so near Kaiwom, because you say baby at no kind do by Becca. Nempenyufo so ahoabo mo so o de ene upa for chief of staff rebis I tell them say papa baby I didn't condense the grounds because papa baby I'm going to be a grounds monte then we tell them the grounds I send Dr. Kalisus message I tell them so they love you and they have you at heart and I'm sure they will take care of you mama yentwe homra yeba na ya share and commonase wa send be bre honum state of the nation's address State of the Nation address na Yakopon yadom so chena Yakopon so yadom wa chena elections no a ebekoso no empanyifo ho ma ye mom akwaba empanyifo ye mama akwaba na improm to saying ye the radiase enkomon na course no so mati bebre ye bompa se Ghana asumdwi bekoso a at Nahanum and they be State of the Nation address no na afi Middle East tensions has a better thing Ghana afi bisa say easy am I ready for the ayawaso East elections and no nia ye be hwe nti abusua ye hwe nim citizens in 2000 so babeka yensa afi Stephen Donko a former parliamentary candidate maybe bibiani anyaso be kwai constituency ana Yenya Honorable Kofi Bento Afo and so a MP for Sefi we also but okay me no kasa so Alhaji Mahmoud Williams and so Ewufi Hanum ono me hwepete ntakremo beko bibi ma me twam homra me ba ibedin komo stay on.
Yes, Sasinabo, Yasaba, Afiz, Obiaba Tomato Assassin, and Sasa, nobody the form, unknown Benji Estate and Investment Limited, Okofaba, was a Bragana for Nara, and Sasa, Langat Sahin for Sembirenu, Atoya, within 2 weeks, Naya won't prepare near Zama, Sasa Papa Gugu Baby today, Chopoli, Apo City, Central University near B5 of the Flower Road, Shy Hills, Afienya To Estate, and Ambiambia Bebre, in Sunan Kania, are available. Yes, Assassin. Oil litigation free and secure. Aton sasina na 2 weeks. Ya won krata ne ezamo. Aha, mi atofa o. Mi se kokwe. Ne la nyigba nyi di na fle. Yikanya gade kamelengo. Langade nyade kamelengo a. Kejagbagba na dota de Benji Estate and Investment Limited. Afima nya anyigba nyi okata fa dume. But Muslim kanwe. Na jewozi. Na fuoni tre. One main office. Awo Tama Community 25 opposite DPS International School Junction off Aplau Road. Fresh 0
0555-229-909 and 0248-780887.
Benji Estate and Investment Limited. Ansah for
Give us P capsules. A memory. Manum bia ye benemua. Kani metutu ya na minkuma bua sese die. Betro esa kum menia G. Give us P capsules.
Give it to me, baby.
Give us core capsules ozwe.
Emane meme nyina akoko yade. Sisi yade amamanya yem timotete womono. Yedro no manum bi amama de me ho.
Give us core capsules.
I give it to you, baby. You give it to me.
Oh yeah.
Hey. Give us in no. Amen ni jia bebusuamu papa. Give us P capsules.
Ememe wadi ifiedu watwede kronkwan na efa.
Give us core capsules.
Apemfo abata wo mo manufuo ne nkwada wo ne ifiedu mienu nka ho. E wo drugstore bia motofonko Give us Herbal Center. Teshi Mobile. And Teshi Adriami. Phone numbers 0543-222-470 and 050-68-51135.
FD Ashusha sa ejedi enkrato imu aja tumuse eye.
Hey, say the Makohu Greenfield Scientific Herbal Clinic. No, me who credit me. Say, and until no mania award, a word bestie. Obian Transit Emma Dumpemia, dear Cassa, and as a boy, dear, and cannon to them with you.
Greenfield Scientific Herbal Clinic. As I want to say, near Kuro Etuno, near Anchor Ewananu, Obana Bemo Power, and Yarwankaye.
Nancy Mamika say, and the Spana called Moekayeno. Greenfield at Arumenti, and was our soldier and also APM.
Greenfield Scientific Herbal Clinic. Our ultra modern laboratory. And a diagnostic machine, sir. I should share the pediatric Kasa. Greenfield Scientific Herbal Clinic. Ewa Nungwa Dogon, Estate Junction, last stop. Frewa 0243-983-906 and 0261-651-898.
Greenfield.
God is our healer.
Greenfield.
Your last stop.
I believe.
Junior Mengro, my brother Hope. No one in Adia or Joe Bagrosano. Now, dear, when you mean number Samwa, or what personality natural health care so I hear. And I didn't just say you. Peske, I won't 70 or 10 so Cassie more boo, who prostrate I can say. I'm on your drone some woman who say yes, stroke. Diabetes, hepatitis B, pressure, 60 yard dear, a future woman who, and no more yard the whole was. Oh, won't feed you pa. Afe oba opesa o hips anasa wo to eya akese ye ho adwuma. Se stretch marks aje already no aboso a ye yi free ho. Berima obema swa a opesa ye pejamu no. Bra, best care ewo enkran. La Paz, Nyamiche Junction, Grand Prince School no echiwa. Kumasi Bantima, G Runabout, your medlab echiwo. Baby ani edan se human rural wo mu no a. Se wiyo so empomam ye ne Church of Pentecost ene di hwe animu. Takwa Roman Stores, Yeni Zenith Bank, Edition Nimu, Sunyane, Yawa Rex, Yeni Total Filling Station, no, and Edition Nimu, and Atakra, de Anaje, Yebang, Queens of Peace Academy, Yeni Koi Filling Station, Edition Nimu, Frepeske, Ewo 055-773-8555. Peske, quality hair.
Okay. Yes, Ansah Adolfo Kwabena na yemisa sempom to say time for us sir yebeka eje egumo ma mema muska kakra ento moboto misro ade we die me say adebo ne menkan phone ma enti we fa phone we a review scratch for win and once we dial *850*5# me no wan come fa phone because e sika ana ye de chawo wo ye loyal listeners Mr. Mo kakra bi na beti free phone so obehu na odem aha sa dream house no obesi sa car na peso to no obeto sa school no obekọ sa ware no obeware skano ana medema we ohwe ma mi ugina ha kwadwo nkruma na ni je no ho so skani ho kwadwo fa phone ne twa bi okwa wi ade o married man into no interested *850*5# me pa 5 cities ekokosi 2000 ubetimi etwa o de o dial a na wa follow prompt no name ma ya ka so be choose Accra FM we choose a na fe ni aka ni nyina udidi so na fe wakowadim a review scratch for win *850*5# try na hwa this is here *850*5# bibia ebe come repa medicine for one dance actual hard builders so medium one dance actual na medi T74 2974 mission so one dance actual SIC4 also semi no ni komotew almost medium ho adanse actual near can was some dear M7 media to did that. A year Stephen Donko adjoining a former parliamentary candidate, BBNE and Yaso Bekwai constituency NDC. Sanso and a year Alhaji Mahmoud Williams. And interestingly, he's the only Alhaji with Williams. Mira and so Ewahanwa one year Ebabedin Kumo. You heard him say citizen at as General Secretary Ma GCPP and so Ebe Kainsa Tete John, but who know Facebook, Augustine Kujo Amo and so join here. Sansa Nakusuya Upokuya Bobie and so join here on Facebook. Obana Washe link my Rene Lopez is here. Kofi Francis, I see you. Many names there. Kinsley Kujo, okay, Nafiu Nasalifu is also here. Augustine Kujo is also here. So many names there. But you better now you have gentlemen. But Ansah so mama kwaba na me Mr. Sempum Bokode. Alhaji Mahmoud the first time wa baba hanum ntino ebia member no some time na say ochie obia. But me shen komo na say free also. Alhaji welcome. Bacho Kasagu mic no mame.
Thank you.
Odi aya one time pet and come on radio. So but you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, behind the scene officers for long.
That's right.
That's right. But sometime me bi ba na wase ya kan ho asem kakra. Na jaya yi enum kakra na jaya ya be puri ya min mama for hu say yes you are around na say bibi o mo ye bia no ye hu
mo fire.
Ye follow bibia ekoso. Enyume de che obia che ndi sifo nyina o mutie. O mo hwe won tentan kase no so nyina ye che obia.
Masa abanche na ye din ko mama me wura Steven Donko. And Steven that no chechire mu na the buy for cocoa no. Fantastic. In fact, me call Rainbow.
Okay.
And me so me find him different.
Good.
I don't know me so me call Pony be go on.
Wow.
Wow. So fantastic. So
good.
Yeah, me gidi senche mu sa akwa.
Yes.
E betimi aboa na no kre no e di drop so. Me ni baby a yen hya say free. Ye wo ochina abato no.
Yeah.
Ye wo this Israel and the impact in Ghana
so.
Or also. And we have our last topic. Okay, that is the state of the nation. And by unanimous decision, yes, say free. We home match.
I think that you need to I was and the very short.
And the inquire was.
You mean me that say
okay. But you fat 10 minutes.
All right,
so
thank you.
Time.
You anti mami fa akwanya we so enchia ya yura John Dramani Mahama na ifronso a menchia so enkoma bibieni anwaso bekwae constituency for nyamishra omo say omo tie opa da bia say last time ba ha no
okay
we say the we ya no so omo de ato omo person omo de to Accra FM
more fire
unfortunately ho wa kakra nti omo nya na omo de akọ Facebook na omo tie nti ya da masepa so
my main kind message we Cecilia na Tete John de Bayer about Nyamekai on the president's security.
Yes.
Also about the security, I also had a dream where some rebels came into the country and started kidnapping sick people at the various hospitals, shooting haphazardly. And by the timely intervention of Ghana Army Force, they were captured very well.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Maybe I'm in count radios, but my kind of saying is very important. And a D-phobia almost frame coupled with Nyamisumi Hunuyen. My friend, specifically, me bought Colonel Abdullahi.
Yeah.
Na me bought Colonel Adonting. Any penny for I can't wait president security when she
sure.
They should double up.
Yeah.
And report his security. And a president, so this is not the time to be free. So Obama life in Trasuka. Yes, this is not the time to. I'm serious because I want the president to be there. This is not the time. Baby, who hold me a case and call Mr. President and call.
Yes.
Listen to your security details because we need you alive.
Yes.
Okay, Yanko.
You want to mean I think say ye be chance Ayawaso East constituency. Say HNIB elections.
That's right.
Me who say election with the rehearsals. Ye ba be towards Nyame Adoma 2028 general elections. Me say who say election bia say do nkofo na afa na serious aba ye who say we dey agrobi na yakodi. Na the say adno so ye no echena ya nti enye ntokwasem ya abotre peace eno na yedeko ndc edin no de peace ndi e ka ho pa na mpi fo na so mo hu se election so mo nka ho timi de me no mo kra nka se bia no komunya na ka o meta it na adenya 100% preko ko adi wo ko sell resource keke nti baba jama na nde me gina me ka se ene sa de nchina yento banyu ni de na wo yampia o be represent the people of Iowa East constituency now we can see me say global info analytics I say ono application na mano 75% the way you say who be very more than that very more than that I say anya more than that kra 75 I think say quite resounding and it's enough for Baba Jama to be in parliament parliamentary democracy there there is here or Iowa so east just simple majority nti even so ultimately one vote kura obeko parliament nti we dey me send questions on this for ya enkrofo e mo ha mo bebre ko abede ya honya wi we akobi kan say mo dey am so more comfortable lead na we dey lead in the other because one seat like say ya seat nti me hu dey say obi ni e betwetwe ho up and down about one le kwakọ ni aso on win nti mo better ma dey already no or your MP represented
that is so but yes say your ma gap no so a widen
oh yes
o ma nyene say as a Ghana 4% mo ba
say gap na e be widen
nti e bia 80% bi
kofioko
yes yeah bomb kofioko
exactly but what say the issue is say the people of Iowa East Nankasa no they know what they want on he make them better Accra FM akasa madiache but me ntobo Iowa East East for no they know more than us so they know what is good for them and so we free accountable so we free parents some constituents be not come asema omo moto they know what they want and so we dey be say the eken na no e be just parents agro na ye do ha but me hu ne say adwuma ye nua Musa Dankwa ni global info na ta koye ho no say adwuma no wan koye na obibie na yaso be kwayo okoye no Iowa East constituency and information on the very no a representation of what is happening there into one all pick 75 no I'm very sure say e be do ho no na e come more than 75 because ono
Dankwa is also credible
exactly because I don't know where be answer or omo certain what's our pick 75% no you go people they are not certain into where they answer go for no say ade enche ochena no they all vote for Baba Jama
undecided for no
exactly the omo doson and I work for more floating voters omo head ekwo but omo head the Juma His Excellency John Dramani Mahama say we see manage Ghana economy na be do pempens we ya me jiri say I was is consensus for no omo ko mistake enko to aba ma say independent person be and as MP candidate enti me I was is the measure that ends because already Baba Jama be declare no as a member of parliament for Iowa East.
Very well. Maminda was say thank you so much for that brief commentary. Stephen Donko and Motini can former parliamentary candidate Emma BBNE and your so Bekwai constituency on a ticket of NDC. Egeram Goja joining us. Good afternoon to Dako. Thank you. Would you say honorable remember what happened in the mosque in the Voto region? Dr. John. Okay, so I've done that already. Ansah will say NDC security is very do to the Augustine Kujo Amu is here. I said the Minister of Energy, Mr. Jinapo, should set up some selfish individuals who want to sabotage his work, especially those at power distribution. It should look smart. Thank you. Akosi Opoku Apobi and so join us. Please, which of the Colonel Adonting is it? The one from Achim Amosianso, the MPP ban. Minim Kuranka Menka. and one so very well. Rene Lopez say greetings, my brother Nana. Thank you. Kids look just that to talk sense to the selfish appointees. Very well. A lot of information is there. A bit and common. Okay, so we've just been joined by Kofi Bento, Honorable Kofi Bento. Afo, member of parliament, Emma Sefi Vioso. And the honorable Yamuakwaba.
Yeah, I'm so.
Honorable Pumboko.
Over the other room. Yahuye. Say the Ghana man who you know. Sana Yanso Yahu, Yatigana and Quadia Yahuye.
Yɛda radio say honorable member also briefly ma menko Alhaji Mahmoud so na me yadoma wɔkyena yenim sɛ nkunudi ndi aba ba me dia kamenya anka wo de enye 99%. Yeah, tete pa see this me see MPP pressure yengu part ana yegu na enye.
Okay, it be
too much.
More hang around for some time, even though woman but we are more hang around for some time. Then you almost see people.
Now, young woman almost will go on.
And yeah, you go okay. Oh, but I said, good mic in the way.
Or to the say a good CPP. Composition,
that's right.
But the kind of opposition are more young and you are one a big good. It's a Ghana 40 a Ghana 1 party state. Yeah, and maybe a opposition for Nana. I'm more that's right.
But I wouldn't say, Mena Mayomo. Me do ma fa.
Na you win say we mo fa bro. We ni ma bro. O met me afa service 1 year say we mo.
Om kobro san ho agasa.
Yo, that's it. Chia o mampeni na bedi chia ne mpenifo mo ka ho. Mia papa ba ko. Larry Bovlo Latte. Hey. Mia me boss ba ko. General Monsieur.
General Michaud,
the general
himself.
General Isawuni, General Benkusi, Woma, Papa no more mission.
That's what I can no queen so.
Hey, I must add who cross me, sir. Make up no. My free me mentor, so often I make me boss so. Me, so we say, me bought something for a dinner. Na. Because of a message be audi card for more obo mpenufo can I don't think can Abdullah no say obo mudino the antia mame me bo mu nyina edin say we echelon bia wo mo bo mo humode ba security o man mu anya NDC o man mu a nkofo a wo mahun mu bibia aka. So we share Laria the last year before NDC beba power no wakwakoboa Algeria streamline wo security system ama wo aye ne mabebre Ansah na oba Ansah na oba cause no obi aso nim na ne role ewo kwan ya ofa so a ode end coup d'etat in Ghana way back in the from the 1982 coming I want to amakubi amba bioma akopem say ye de beduru ba beduru na chese wono so abon ho modern. Na current situation I find here hono. Yes, now a group of level-headed officers who are up to it or more near the people in the limelight. Somebody like coordinator Razak. I've been over okay, so we're the quiet type.
Yeah, national security coordinator.
Yes,
fantastic man.
Very fantastic. Udinachia Ubeira unite light, but he's always on to he's always on top of his job. But you see a number of so kwamo ensahwe emuatrenso. Nti betma I can say omumbie omani. Great. Mumbie omani no monhwe ne because Yahubi. Yahubi am say endru afikura. Ntokotimi no friend say ya na ntokwa bi koko si president Krum ya behwe na the international nguase ba ma Krumafo no kra bedana to do am kokotena obi ma so sa ne ma ni nyina ba sa esai o mine din na esai ban net so nso din na esai wo mo a wo mo ye responsible for that. Enti kana kwe yenim se wo ho obia ka se papa we de wanya red headed officer na che se umpa che se wani da fo enti religion so wontimi nko ba bia o wontimi represent the you can't be everywhere at all time, but your voice and your presence can be felt at everywhere. Failure to do so we will caution you. Enti na yemu bi ya volunteer say 24/7. Your name dear near contacts, near ability to survive in any situation. You had the babu near tower chairman near Makoye. But man penny security one. A your money in idea. but one I yi mo asi wo se mo adwuma no mo wo ho aka de enti na de mo asi ho nti yen hwe ho no mo yi o kire nyam ya dom aye kwako wie ya formality say ye baba Kamal de be kan say baba baby odi abeduru anu no kan say o kire be hwie powder goose yes they said they me aminu yi kai was say a simple parliamentary election is a simple majority. So by
one pass the pope.
Yes, but you vim mo who say yes. You vim wo.
Exactly.
Because Nima hono no you from home the elite constituency. Constituency I want the presidency team.
Cosmopolitan.
I want a presidency in it here. Enti wo mu nim de e good mo wo.
I want a former president Akufo-Addo no.
Ai.
Yeah, Nima.
Nima.
Oh okay.
Enti obia nim constituency a host 2 presidents there. Former president, current president, you know, at 2 million, nature senior constituency ketwa. Womunim what is good for them. They know. Underground work be and kana opposition ne person where from where through Morisanda. So on first I say Amas Sanda ako independent they say game no. But unfortunately I'm fat.
Yeah, I'm fat.
Sanda wa ye adam fo ye ne nanantimu ache but ya manati ase se we nko ade we nko ade ndc eba ndc ya masa it is a religion eba ndc ya wo yetia no se wo de ade bia be se ndc ama masa despite se me no ne didi anajo bia no masa ebe party we se mo bia ko
I personally called him on phone.
Yes metie ye
yes metie I advise him sanka beya
yes
he should drop.
Yes.
You listen, eh?
Yes. So sometimes no sana a unity say nya bibia nyo bia no ko situation mu a wonya no easy.
Yeah.
Nenka ye mu bia yen kan sembe. The bia campaign by director for president operation me twam. Ye be election bia na me viet nyina bubu. Ye be sa ko election fufuro ko na me nya fufuro nhye mu ye. Be ka bejai. But obi e wo hope baby nya necessary ye gina wa wo ka do me komnya se me nka nipa mienu enfa ma on
enfa ko security.
Yes.
Yes. Work on
yes. Sa hope na mo trust na wo bo me so no. Sa na kwala na wo be ka kire wo no so trust no wo so. Na wo de aba me ho. Enti wo kina na pa. Me say den ya me so me be ko akotwere obi. Enti kaka kopim sa kwala. Enti ka mini wo no mo a wo ba ka ho na obeko. Eno ene ma ye ntimi nko no.
Okay.
Enti sa de ti your passport mo man visa bebre ne yanko ba bia. Ntimi nko esum na ye sum ni ntra enti edu ba bia just wanya abotre. So na because say na wonim ba bia na enyina yenim say during appointment ni enim say ba bia ye beko.
Still.
Yes.
Anweness.
But ye da so
balance hope.
Yes. So hope kra ni wono mo kra it's say manya china kra but the virtue say
fire.
Papa lari bevlo lati warround.
More fire.
Me kono hono mo a metimi minena mankran na awiabo me me kwa kwatena se 30 minutes age me mahome no. Still I have hope. Me bo chief of staff me kwa kwatena se I have hope.
No fire.
At the end of it say me kofie na bibi nu ha me ko yakondo ho bi oni bi obe fe na iraji mo ama me akofie. That one alone shows that at least I know somebody.
That no say me ko ha me ko chia no chia me come.
Yes. So at least a lot of things happen. Say last some time ago na enkrofo too kwan betu ebi mu wo mu nim me ana omunya accident around Lindado ana omo frame me sisi anu mafralaji yakondo this has happened was it hold on wa mama nkatia no ofre DC no kana opposition ko betima friend ni yakwa tene o ya saw mo akọ hospital ni ado mo nyina akọ hospital immediately ni akwa attend wo obi ekura asase papers a minwa commissioner ma no say ko na ko twa prospecting wa hanom kokohwe woduru kroma wati ya wasi hey ahari yasi efra sankore na woduru hanom ya buru nkofo me fa phone me frɛ consensus executive gidi ni akwa fa no ni aman ba bi ada ama de acha ma watimi asansa na chi aba beduru hanom enum ne ka so hope for the future. You might not get the economic appointment, but socially you are connected. Yes. That is what we are talking about. So the people of Nima know about this.
Very well.
So that is the little I can say.
Very well.
That they should by the end of the day tomorrow, hopefully you know be part and be a go baba.
Great. Yeah, here's Yene Honorable Kofi Bento Afonso Betrin Kumo MP for Sashi. We also Ansah our Hanum Wood Energies here. We're joining with was it Honorable Nanotu, please? This is not part of your topic. Just want to know if Akpalu's party still exists. It still exists. Okay, Kwakuvi John also to the tell the MPP to keep quiet. They have destroyed the country for the past 9 years. Okay, I'm not saying Nakosia Opoku. I say I thank God he's not the one. Meaning who you're talking about. Aram Goja also good afternoon. Otu Dako. Thank you so much for messages na Modi Eban. Samuel Ahiajo also good afternoon. Incoming National Communications Director. Mbacho men call me me call deputy. Maybe any deputy communications officer. So me jemfin pa one day minti me nhyɛ ne sesia mu worship da chi bia ho but see ade aboa no hwɛ ne mfin wanwene ne bu misusu sɛ me call deputy na metimi a handle na da chi bi madwuma so ani a asa no yadwene bra asa me jemfi die no. Okay, Akmota Seidu or say NDC all the way more fire na Utu Patrick Adu or say I approve of your bid. Thank you. More you know I'm supporting thank you so much. You see campaign on Crawford discover me the alewa.
The alewa na beko.
Me the alewa ana beko contest. Can the delegate be a binya alewa? John Atiga and so Ewufi Hanum. Okay, so Nibio because it's very interesting. I'm enjoying the show. I learn new things anytime I watch the program. Kwame Frimpong was it Israel used AI to build okay, no about. We said Nana Utu good work with Rabbi Adamu. Seth Antubam has joined us. I say Malameke breastfeeding. I'm watching you. Mensa Agbedu is here. I say please tell President Mahama he should come and complete our e-blog. Okay. I say e-blog no agave sondo esuga kope. Sripi Aqua says great work. Esigoka say God bless Madam Lodina Nyafu. My brother Paul Amenesoji say good afternoon. NDC is the best future for Ghanaians. 1974 Mr. They can form our Esan Yadwa Bibre. Mr. Who be here say Aquacopebi ato say a type of fever, kidney infections, hepatitis B, abnormal pain, blood sugar, and now say bad breath, ulcer, diabetes, asthma, ovarian cysts. A boy HIV patient, and a anemia patient, chronic cough, and a heart related diseases. Make sure 024607 3498 0246073498. Very well. Ma menkona any honorable Bento and so entry and come. You can join the feed live on Accra 100.5 FM. Honorable Kofi Bento Afoye MP Emma Sefi we also honorable Epacho unkwaso yehwe nyakopo yadoma ochina aya waso elections na ekoso so far how do you say things?
Aya waso is honorable Ture na mame call ho na abato amanyo sem inim bia consent bia wona bakosem papa no efiri mu adana mezulumi sum no na wosesa adana ntime de me call ho na mete ensemu ana wo mu a ewo mpesua no so eka se mete wona wo mu nim no comments nkomo ana wo mu edie edi afa papa no ene ne nyuma wo ye se de woni wo mu esi etie no kre mete ya te se papa no 2024 election kra no wono ankasa entimi anya ahomka anye campaign nanso enam se de woni ne manfo no etintin obi a sebio na ne hododo no almost original says ombesoma no ama na ko mrasha bidwom ye call parliament almost 1 year na me nim papa no me hunu da until say business committee hoda kra na oba ye October 2025 na me di hu no so no business committee and after me hu na hu de na hu keka nyame enenim de oye abrebia na papa no free mu na me call constituency ho na me hu nkoma nkofo ne di fa no ho kan ya kan say 2024 wanye campaign so mo de mo to man ena ma me hu say de NDC amanyoku ya ho odin etie ewo ayawa so ho mini mpati mpanifo ahye mrahye bedwafo nyina yakogina mu aye sisi akora echena yesan emu bi ebeko ni nyina ne se ayawasofo akire se wo mope NDC amamuo eno sa nti no wo mope NDC mrahye ebedwani na NDC nso ahoden a yankopon enam yewura mampanyi John Mahama so de ama aban we no ebe prese party no ahoden amanyoku no ya ho keka no ebe kɔ nanim enti enye nkunimdie nko a ne yekɔpere wɔ ayawaso se honorable Ture anye campaign ti se de ono ane manfo me se me ti hɔ no wo mu nim enti wo mu se mo kanyina ma ne me ma metie ni nyina na se sia ye nyina ye beboa ama ye di party no ho adanse de me hu sa ayawasofo eye party no eno mo de beto aba so mpeso mo NDC party no ekonani ayawaso east enti enye nkunimdie keke no mo hwe wo mo say honorable Ture nya 71% or so wo mo peso mo ko manim ebiti de wo mo de ma honorable Ture no na baba jama de no kura no esensa yenim se wo mo beye no obi kan na den to kra na MPP4 omu yankoma anko election omumra Ghana no yenye one party state so omu efi ase ye saade amede maka before me betina me kai say ye mpre one party state na emum wo mo ne ye no anhwe yi a wo mo na de Ghana beko one party state ti omu meso omo ho ne enhwe wo mo nim so omo di nkuku dadade nanso ena modern mo enkanka no ti fiadai Ghana manjina bie omampani John Mahama de betu uja na Ghana fo nyina etieye dodo no kra me de me ka se ehia se nyam enhye emra constitution de kasa omampani me sa anka the matter speaks for itself law for the matter speaks for itself the ekoso Ghana de Ghana jine we don't need ehia John Mahama so me kan kire se Ghana enika na Ghana ye ka ye de no yetua ehia John Mahama so me kan kire se petro bo yate so should the president come to parliament and tell Ghanaians say petrol na ebrebi na mitono 17 cedis per gallon no and yate so manadru ebi 9-10 cedis 11. If you don't need a president should you need a president no me krom say eboakon say we also for John Mahama na me country say cement na na yetono 1.2 million no and cement kro na yetono 85 cedis we don't need John Mahama iron rods na yetono 90 million I na yetono 70 million no John Mahama na me country yana it is the state of the nation there eyeye a nim na so yese ye mra se o se obedi sa adwuma no na wabedie ni nyina ayo asofo ayo east fo womunim womun so te Ghana ha ya ebi eka wo mu
ayo awaso nema nko so different bi ai then ya de for forever
me se me papa no efiri mu no me ko fofo no nkoma wo mu die menim ho me ntina hoda na metie wo mu kan ya kan se enyem rese bedwani no kura aban se NDC aban ewo NDC amanyoku no ewo aban mu a wo mu hunu mfaso a wo mu nya se MPP nso wo ho wo mu hunu nti wo mu de enu nti na ma wo mu to maba how many constituencies na Ghana ha NDC team win over 70% and I was is one of them enti wo mu a wo mu say NDC mo eno mo san to aba ma wo mu sa oboa enyo bia nkansa kwansa na obi beto aba bumbum sa ma wo no na ye aseda eyayeye eye de wonya de wo hunu ewo mu enti na ma wo no so epeja wo sa enti yese wɔn mu atutu mfuturo agugu abɔnten so no deɛ mfuturo no enwu obiara ani aya also eat for saa mfuturo na moto na nkure from anim wɔn nkotintim pa bi a wɔn mpɛ ɛkyena yɛn nyinaa yɛbɛhu oh yɛ deɛ me kɔɔ hɔ nnura akyi no mehunu yɛ wɔn sɛ yɛn nuanom muslimifo no afie wɔn afia no akɔnkyerɛ ase enti ama uduru hɔ a ɛhɔ yɛ din sɛ wɔn wɔ mpaebɔ brem deɛ mesrɛ na no nkora no mesrɛ afiri electoral commission hɔ sɛ ɛnam sɛ yɛn nuanom ɛwɔ akɔnkyerɛ brem na ahoɔden nyɛ hɔ gidigidi saa no mesrɛ so bama nneɛma deda na kwam sɛ deɛ bɛyɛ a abato sɛ du baabi a kiw deɛ bɛgyina line mu akyɛ ne weenum awia ɛbɔ ɛbɛsrɛ sɛ kɔn bɛfi aseɛ ntɛm sɛ voting points na ɛbɛyɛ ne ntɛntɛm ama wɔn nko gyina awia mu ɛnkyɛ bebree sɛ nte saa nso na ebi wɔn nim nipa dodoɔ ɛbɛto aba wɔ polling station bi a ne efi sɛ polling station bi wɔ hɔ a nipa no dodoɔ no ɛbɛha adwene ama wɔn bɛgyina awia mu saa no yɛsrɛ wɔn mfa nhyehyɛ ne sɛ canopies yɛfrɛ ne sɛ tent canopies no bɛkɔ akɔ rent ama yɛn nuanom ɛyɛ fast na nyɛ baabi koraa wɔn nyina kiw na wɔn bɛtena ase a yɛmmoa ɛnam ɛbrɛ na ɛne abato no akɔhyia ne nti sɛdeɛ ɛbɛyɛ a yɛn nuanom bɛtumi akyerɛ wɔn adwene ɛwɔ oniako a wɔn pɛ sɛ odi wɔn anim ɛwɔ mmerahyɛ ɛbɛdwam.
Great. My emphasis at PCA Emma Honorable. Once we get to join the feed no na wakyerɛ wadwene Honorable Kasa no so ntiase wo mukama. No wonder he's representing his people in Parliament. Ombebua ama ya reshape the focus of Ghana. Rested agenda no. Ebekoswa afa den tuma pefra. Yada SIC4 ase. Sanso ane yada 2974 meshase. Hard builders yada mase. Senate monso yada mase. Emrepam bedim ho adanse akyerɛ. Misraw star 850 star 5 hash. A review scratch for win. Star 850 star 5 hash. Ufulwa. Ubitimi enye skagu bottom 5 cities ekosi 2000 pe ana yebetie star 850 star 5 hash ebebwa papa. Very well. Ma yanko so na yanko to the next parts of the conversation. Yes. Okay. Fasting in any mama umremu na till the kakre bi fro na mpachoko. Yenhwe Iran, yenhwe case with Israel. Yenhwe the intrusion, if like, of America. Now, you share the effect of war Ghana economy. So, your name, Ural Wahaba Dinkoma, Wamain, the perspective of the geopolitics of it. And your name, Ira Donkanamans wedding como, watching the energy sector. Of course, MP boss, Bekase, you will shock absorb a crowd on by 3 weeks. You reserve the meeting, any idea. In all these things, he found a Ghana, just briefly, Nafi. Honorable
okay, Minya, the American for MP boss the Obeka, no Kwabena kind of at least, and what kind was at least, you 3 weeks, you will reserve a bit take care of us for 3 weeks. But intelligent reporter, me no so stress, and we just for commercial language. But definitely we will have not less than 6 even
6 weeks.
More than 6 weeks. So no, people shouldn't get scared. It will definitely we will take care of it.
But then can be service here a bit magase. You been say 1 year. But I say 1 year BBC a woman on here. Ghana and shocking and found some bit number. Just you be 69 years.
Yes, just say I call back to this Sema Honorable Duncan Kayan. Just what to be a go for. Say any idea would dear. Because a crude noa and I will refining a han will fan or hard fine or ha. Any nature wouldn't say you have enough. And as some of these things need a serious upfront. That is why a serious front leaders. Who are those front leaders? Leaders always go out and fight for their states. When we talk of a state, it means a serious business. You don't care what happens to others. You only care about what happens to you.
That is the realist model, but
yes.
the liberal model also cares about what happens to
yes.
others.
But whatever happens,
they do more with international corporations and
yes,
also.
International cooperation. You can only attend that table. You can only be on that table when you are highly respected there. Otherwise, you'll be used for the meal to be on the same table you are supposed to be. You will see your arms and lips on the same table. I don't know whether you are getting me. What connection? Yes, they may patch and say, baby, I drone. Just a negotiation, or might be an case now the agent negotiations. Okay. Your ability to negotiate makes you a strong state. Okay. Just here, Tima Cassi, ye kakrana, yenyan or harm. Say ye bet it ye bottom, and ye bet ye were ye near Casse. Says yes, ye know as I say for the next 15 years. When you know, would the word day, echo, no aqua, no wadi or honoma. I was here to me, Casse, oh, and Ranumono, a different and non. Okay. Until I'll send in to me yet to say, send me and write a sayana. Inti, ya no be consider 5% now, ye Mudemaya, ye, a fed your bed, ye veggie 10. Next, we see cano crown a bed, ye best so, and I say, Mren, your bema, do I count. Think be a cut 10 years and I was here with it more. Near my about 15. Say by a young she bet me a day. Young be DSC. Because says Siano a canna ebeban a look, Oman Penini, a energy minister, Omuntimi Yahon. Omuntimi because the Strait of Hormuz now a yes straighter a link between the Arabian waters. Any the Persian Gulf no. A woman block no. Iran are block say more obiam for ho. Was it more obiam for war before since there are over 1,500 vessels a once you know more bianco and on biam move here. And over 26% of the world fuel do efasa equine also. And as half fuel never as efa honum and on the benefit here or hanum as Africa. Safu never honum and then a benefit here as Africa. And tis a unquad the Ebequacusi and say, Fu no barbe free one Abba travel back to Africa. Now, but Africa han was up a fahan wako Europe. Niasa ko Europe aquaco faba into who cost on Becostro. And tea we shall see a bruise in Tema and when near Coco. Yes, dear bet may say, quite be a befasso. Quite be a befasso. He said, dear Oman Penny, ya waiting me. I take his cocoa by the ye and Cote d'Ivoire so I copy. Ye we and almost a copy. And your good decision, I'll come back copy. A good decision. Yes. Ye was here to me who said, dear, no near who quite be a befasso be resist, can be a Toby. As you are, because some days to come, weeks to come, months to come, it's not going to be easy. That's what you don't can work as a okay book or your boss star. Yes, and come to you at this year. Yes, but one say someone make it profit all the time. No, they are always running giddy to go and declare say, oh, you are making profit like this. We have made profit like this. The aim of government is not to make this profit. The aim of every government is not to make profit, but to make a conducive environment for citizens to feel free and make profit. Because we make a profit. But government are making profit. How can we get reserves? No, government don't make profit. Government takes the profit we make to make the citizens comfortable. Yes, we are to make the profit for government to take and tax us over it. Government whether to declare the so let's say they don't make profit, but they so government can make say profit in there. No watching there's a flood in there. So no assistance can you know quite so what I'm saying is that so you bit make a government make a profit, but like for instance where the establishment of good water they make surpluses. They don't make whatever they make is for government. Government do if you have profit then you can say this amount of money belongs to you. And they change citizens in Saba Sika Corona. They say Bank of Ghana he said Samija physical or ye and a one year. Yeah, they are two contractors. That is what I'm talking about. It is not something that can be declared particular time. And you know on a different issue. So government aim is to just what? To manage. That is why we to govern me to take one from one side to fight the other side, take the other side, fight here, negotiate and keep the citizenry going, keep the environment state and keep the nation at large in motion. But say it's not say a person make a statement say within this particular period you make it this amount of money yenti me enko ba because obe make sika na wie na obe declare na fango bo na kosoro kosoro wie so wonti ntodo do bia okay because sesia no nyame aye adoma ayaba dollar yaba ejina die ko si wo wiase mu nyina wiase fa na nyina edu adwadwo nyina danya ebe nya triple effect because in microfinance we said the little that drops on your back and you don't milk it down is what is going to consume you in future because subsequently when you are asked where is what we drop at your back you can't account for kaka na twetwetwetwem fango so any fango profit no you calculate in ketenkito microly it is calculated microly kaka be yesika kese pa but say one hwe ni no one to and dealing with very a year ubo say why ni nyina ba be krambo economy ni nyina ba krambo aba form because we ntimi and sustain no you need the fuel to run the state to get the state running all the state machineries the state vehicles the president and everything need the fuel so enya de bia obetimi survival enti enhwe ho no
Alhaji Mahmoud Williams, the only Alhaji who bears the name Williams, and in Indian common, of course, Holy Ramadan into Beja Ehokakra, na yene honorable member of parliament and a former parliamentary candidate, their face. Honorable, maybe we are met from sell coffee, TV bedding common. Very good. Nya you do there or we are Beja. Alhaji, yeah, we are there or you Beja campaign. It's a very very well. But my main call honorable ho na maybe sir this question. Honorable.
Yes, ma'am.
Me pacho set Ghana ye two fango.
Yeah.
Fango no emfaso be na sebi e woso. Say ye free ho oil nation. Na nka bibi say nsi wa manane ane ye ho popo. Yeah. Ene sanka fenyina ya nya fango no kura. Anka baso ana
nti obi sai say brebe ana da ben na BBC ebe koso wa manane ye ho enkoka adwem.
Okay.
Na question number say restrict you to oil because we are no nyina ye back nti chemu na aba na obiti ha nti eden a yebedi nkita ho o man kronkron Ghana intimi nka say yen Ghana ye ni o man bia enni nkita ho bia so ye ho ebe so ya kronkron da bi na mom nyoma bi nu ho a obetimi ade wo ho awum to obi sa afa ho no na madwun akosi tema oil refinery adwuma eye ene se na wo mo dane
fangwani
sabra no kra na ebi mepie Ghana ha na ye kra crude oil ngono tede ye tunu asase mo de aba be dane a eye adwuma pa woni ana eye adwuma wo ho ye hweya na tema oil refinery oguye me nye politics ntimi mo amanyu ku bia ana aban bia na breso eguye Ghana nyina
honorable anakwa say egu MPP aban
unim the entire okay oh you one party state for no bi me ya abama Ghana than one party state
say no credit honorable
ana ekobaye eson faso na yenya woni ye adwuma ho me say abrev me ko Dubai na me share abrante bi o say oye adwuma o company na oye Ghana ni
okay
so na nimdie pa me wona me adwuma wo to me ba ha no abrofo no wo moje geme so na so me nyanka Ghana na me ye adwuma akatua na me nya wo ha no suba sanka Ghana na me ye adwuma nka me penti to no de momwa sabre na MPP na wa ma eni ekoye honorable napo honorable mani nsan na so me nsam bo bia wo je ye no a wanye ho adwuma no enu nti na me ka ho asem bia obi abetimi bia ye be ye no energy minister e se o call fit to say wo betwa se afia mu tema all refinery be fia adwuma ase ene ye ne nanso insiranka obi a friend John mama say na ye kase When you say to my oil friend if you I say a year
refine it won't combat
some time ago Ghana to my oil friend no na ye fam wa ye dan wa ye nkra the friend no refined oil no ye gini nyina wa Ansah ye benya oil kra wo Ghana
ana bo say NDC mahama wa nkra na moye na ewa
da ko da ho na
ewa da ko because that na boss ne ti o are ne aka yeah
enti say ade a ye hwe say ye gbeya na ye nia ya nua de ebedi wo ha na let domestication de ehia nanka me problem na minim say the equipment na ho no the calibration na insist the type of oil you have be no so the magic you bet me here as a science engineering no say nya ye de enti wonim anke yankoton e fam wo no ni ensan enkoton ba bi de emma emeyusu e wo ha say ne crude yetu e wo Ghana ha te say de what de omanpani afi okura wo shemu kenan guaranteed man guarantee a we num deplete ya anti wakutua $500 million say yenuanom a etu fam wo no si achi ba wo se nya e wo ba bi num na bo o say wo mu be ye adwuma no but be mum in fact you say 3 different oil friends pits kura was sign afinance say betu ade ne bibire wo ha me de ni mesre wo question bi say me no say ye nya o mampanyin bia na nisu ade hunu ni say obemi ye nya ye fango no wo ha enu nti na tema oil refinery afi adwuma ase no enti say Iran die ya bayi die ye ho so say betumi anya enwo ehia nyina firi ye kurom ha nanso papa na me gini edie no enim say ne chichie mu Ansah na obefi aba mu obeje bibi pa say ekoba energy oil yenko dan obia waka enu echi obegina yenim wo parliament fiada no o say ade ba ko edi yenya pa ne sika efrede bi say bi international reserve what reserve ni nyina ne say ye sika e wa ma no ne wo say kra bi fra mo ne ye di bi ye yusu bi enu
okay
ya ne susu say o say yenya bosom miensa de 3 months of import cover and say bosom miensa yenya sika bia ankogu mu a wo say etimi kra ne o ma bagana obai opejima ma na kodru 5.7 months say eko be bosom miensa say Ghana yenya sika bia emfi aburuchiri amano ne ne ye say ye betena se adi amano ni dwa bosom nsia o mamparin jo ma say sika wa kuchire gu ho amaye no ye betime di fa nanso enye no wo hwe ne ma ene ne nananom daachi into odi eno achi last week ya odi shisha aba amra se bejom say wo pesu opeja ye foreign reserve no ekodru 15 months of import cover
15 months
wa ye ho ne
currently how many months
15 months
no currently
5.7 currently ye need regulation bia nti abaya no dia o ye
adults 6 months
and ye 5.7 ono opeja from 3.5 to 5.7 and we say opeso di ye ko ba Ansah no be free amamu adi opeso di jani so odi ye be ko 15 months
cover
na no won nye kanu na no sa akwa odi ye ho hyehyɛ aba wo be ye ne mranti mra chebedwafo munyintu na
etumodin and how to make kana benfo
bayi because it's not
no the open out
so one mo anye sa na nkomo ye de papa eye kura emu fa anka wo kosa wo bisa mi anka ne metime yiwa no easy se o yehia ye fa ho de ekoso Iran ne de ntana bia ye nia ye ho beso yakwanko nanso akobasa enti yenya reshimu bidie mu gidie se John Mahama ye president nko ade obeboa ye ho aso ye
Abuja for say we also member of parliament and oni e komona President John Dramani Mahama officially will be 2026 judicial year of the African Court on Human and People's Rights in Arusha, Tanzania so that is official. I mean, so great a man. Obia penasem, just Obia person invite me.
Mr. Minum tell over you see, President Mama. Why are DB, Mr. Baby, me frinty, young kuku. say no to be general. You see, a leader or man party maker say, one nom a draw nyo. Ewo koko and sensem me. Koko nyina Ghana ye kan koko and headquarter any also. In the no chi ankofo binum so omo ye demonstration no say won free say also. Me koko board. Na CEO and deputy wa ku bisa na say for nam say mo say mo nim trick. Nkofo no ba no. Na nka so mo ka trom so mo kasa fi kasa na mo tie. What's up say also?
I don't know.
No man kasa. Me koko eno na de wo me de tete me say na me kan na me come say me wi JHS no te say won timi kan say wo say wi awon ye koko from primary school na my de koko me do koko sa me be do pieces sa
so be na honorable krase kai pa na
me wi JHS aggregate 6 with 9 ones ya catch him papa say
then you are brilliant
secondary school me because me
unya 9 ones no say wo
kan ya kura ni ho latest ni ho and so the minim koko intimi de me dia that papa mama sase wo ni we nu mama ya miami koko amedua ayefe
wow
nti o mama nkotena afom ho nse caretaker so ahwese ni wo ho na me no wona papa se David na mama copy suku na me ye chartered accountant me ye chartered tax advisor me ye investment advisor me ye licensed investment advisor
wow
me ba ye nsu wunim aba mama so me de me ka obi a wo tie me bia me wo koko marketing board
great
koko marketing company board no
great
so
great because
most of the times I call board meeting no me na me chair.
Wow.
My chair most, in fact, over 80% of the board meetings me na me chair.
So what say what?
Intimate adenase. Me say se obi kase de omampanyini aye etia kokoko afo a me na onim de wo kan e na masre so aka kire se wi osofo say me na mo soma me mo nka yo say me ye campaign me ka kire me say me nhye mo bo mo soma me na me kwa kama asema me nana no ye kokoko ye me nana me say me ma me o me kura ajo kesi boako o mu tie me boako fo tie
e che ompa
o mo me ma me ye kokoko o do kokoko still me ma me wo ye ne die ne kokoko fo me ko enti nana me ba be duru abo
ade na ya attachment
dia menye nyina na makotena table bi ho say ye susu bibia fa kokoko afo ho na me ma hwa me yesisi kokoko afo
never
my colleagues o mo etie me ene me wo koko marketing board so be ka kire o say that bia I'm very passionate about decision bia bobia be ka say dia na ekwama kokoko
farmer
dia be eye ade a me say na me prepare say benya obi a wo kokuduro o mampanyini a go ade na koye wo facility kuro
ona bo we dey cancel obi say 9 ones na nya dey na just ata na nigga what's a nigga friend and I want to say go as a party nya 9 ones like this is here what's say book na your girlfriend that's just on the lighter note let's proceed
yeah na meti koko marketing board say me hwama yes see akuafo e masada masremo yo microphone say here you so focus say phone create ni kofi bende me wonyo bo awan ye emfaso en what the ICA no e emfaso de e de mayen san say ene aban bia ni wo beba na titi e bebre bi o musisi koko akuafo koton e koko aban wo koko afo Ghana ba wo koko afo ye ni edua koko ba Ghana wo ni wo say de ye tutin atoje wo ni atoje koko abo
se menem na na kwase mo na
aban wo koko afo
aban ti ahasuda
no what ye koko no free ensem no akwa akoton na monne ba de esika bre enti me maame akesi nim se kofi min sisi no se me kasa me baji no koko no na matese ye ton koko no wo London 6,000 60 million to me koton de abre no me koton de abre no na me ko na me maame te se afi London fo no anto koko no 6,000 no na mo moto no 5,000 na me ba na me betua 6,000 na ma me maame a de na ma me be ebedwen obehunu se ne ba kofi na di ni tika de ya de asoso do you know say 70% anko for say NDC ka say beto koko 6,000 yes say 70% de be makuafo say sabre no NDC na na wa ba mu a ka 70% of cocoa price na 6,000 yanka 6,000 ye ka 70% enti ye ba mu na ye ton ye cocoa nyina average price na $7,200 per ton ye 16 bags ye de emu 70% aye $5,040 and a month afo edru baby anu be na Ansah kura no koko bo san cause san de biem e ka ho de entia aban se opese odi no kura e ma koko kuafo wonim se koko bo fi ase se e ba fom no enye ho ana ban etie so aban absorb akusia se 70% e du ba bi kura de de ma kuafo na 90% na ye 90% ende wo hu sa atamfo no mguase aba nyina ne se me nko compare obi die me se di ojo ma se obeya makuafo no na me ka ho asem wo se akora nkosi ho a wo de mra ba mra hye bedwam se yentintim ni enka nkere Ghana fo nyina se koko kuafo yentua wo mo de ye below 70% da enti se china chi se de koko dwa etie no e kostoro na ba fom e kono ko do 10,000 the 70% minimum no
yes
into so konya de odo yen se jo mama de ekura mi se more than
70%.
Eno na mesre me sada me say esre me mame enimi ni me papa no mo aka nyina minim se nyina ikoko se de ese no enye de obia pedodo epokura se nsi otogum na ho na ye tua na ka 36 million na ene ye se man 20 ebe ne de enye ye ndeme enye me de nanso aweresi mu a me wo e mani da so am pese mini wo mo chene se koko bo echina chi afra se ebe kosoro le koduru ho a yen ebeduru be bia mi enya 7,000 8,000 aban bia entimi ncc ye bio
pia honorable honorable Kofi Bento Afu MP Emma Safi Bioso obesen attening can be on the state of the nation briefly ya manage your time no nkakra akra ba menko Benua Steven Donko former parliamentary candidate ma bibiani anyaso bekwai constituency honorable ubetimi ati no afri on me about the final lap
okay Benua me da wase ma na ya sha se honorable mai
yes no
nti ma me fa akonya we so na se pa na won say na me ko ba bi o
okay
but me who say o ka ho no na me say kan kan me den member na wonim me bra panyi pa no ene number 1
okay
me yes see me be chartered accountant ni na ayo no ntra
seriously
yeah and say me ono aka me chartered accountant
honorable
yes sanka enyo ono a yes sanka enyo ono a aka me chartered accountant ene number 1 number 2 me bra panyi ono so GCB na da for pa no ono no so na wie see chartered the same year
wow
the next one also ono na chiriba ono say me mother for pa ono say chartered accountant am no ka say o ye no PhD US enti eyabusia enti ye show ha no anije keke ye bedi abusia nkomo na kwa say ye nua na ye sanso ye this for na ye sanso preserve na ye sanso discuss the same thing o say
may come for Deputy National Communications. Yes.
Na no to won say adaba kwa me kan say ye na ye finance minister se pa honorable Kesla to force because won say adna ye discuss no sanka MPP na wa abema kame donyame say inflation can be 1,000%. Say MPP no abema and can inflation be 1,000%. When him say see Iran and Israel to kwai Ansah say ye ni mo sha said kan sem ona ye behwe na ye behwe de besie na say omo dwen say bibia be de ebe say na o ka sem bi o say ebe de na yetimi sustain and yetimi na de air causes ya no enya impact negative e Ghana so eno na Kesla to force no na ma mentro ade from 2021 2022 2023 so 3 years away Ghana inflation any year to date 3 years ya kaboma na more than 100% 113% 113.8% and see we be say si one pia that time now you say say Russia Ukraine war so what here and no and this issue ni buy emma ye wade bia onabodi oyawe ye accounting standards bia IAS 29 said the lawyers no omoka article this article 5 article 20 me nyale amenti ase no me ka IAS 29 honorable as because say international accounting standards 29 now basically the challenge say economy ayo mu no say you say ye dollar and I have amomo oman mu no aye Ghana for no the general populace so omo prefer say omo be invest omo sika in a non monetary asset.
Okay.
And here one condition I say sabe bi ekon e kire say oman no yentimi enye ye normal account na ye no historical we no emfa nye accounts. Number 2 say cumulatively no for the 3 years cumulative say inflation come more than 100% and I say approach 100% e kire say aban no and I say oman no account na books are nyina no e say ye record using IAS 29. Number 3, the person me say any pay woman no. So mo prefer say and I say omo value omusika no in relation to a foreign currency. So what it means is say yet Ghana ye this cedis. But edu baby a na so obi a kan dollar okoto adeko say you invest in dollars a e no kire say oman no and any pay woman no ye ina ye adwen say ye nkasa ye sika kra no ye reverence no na mom da bia no ye reverence ye sika no into a foreign currency ye do some pempens we na ye enye Iran fene say Israel and American tokwa but e ko zu ho na woni be see uba accounting man auditing firms no ye the big 4 auditing firms nim say woni mo your KPMG your Deloitte, your Ansah Young, and your PwC. These are the big 4. And of those big 4 way, on the letter, I command the Institute of Chartered Accountants, ICA Ghana. Say you had your air course since 2021 to 2023, and you prepare your financials no using IAS 29.
Okay.
Financial statements under a hyper-inflationary economy.
Great.
Now, say this auditing firms say I can see and 9 yes all Ghana how e mo we ase nyina because the make o mi na ye we ase nyina PwC KPMG Deloitte and Ansah Young and on the letter command ICA all right now when him say that time no they American akofo da mambo mu no say when I say we professional body and also wo ano a den and also wo kokuduro na say obetimi say they are ko e mo ma onye because when him say one ukore prepare accounts and that's IAS 29 now the implications of a banner among some women macro let's economy nagu and the economy na e call junk status during that period time no ni na any
wow
na oh so see here in a can people also and time catch us say some people also see here and can inflation na ye can answer no and can you bedwini 1000% 2000% very serious sure and me to me who say data bank omo the information about bontin say Ghana cedi e be depreciated by 7.2% year end na me sere omo wonim last year Kenofurata bank here omo say Ghana cedi e be depreciated by 7.2% for the 2026 last year omo the same thing but honorable case a lot of person or disappointed omo because yet here and last year first 2 months of 2025 your dollar no it depreciated by 5.3%. As I look at first 2 months in 2025 dollar it depreciated by 5.3%. By your real negotiation say cedi no appreciate to the US dollar by more than 40.7%. Enti omo dwen say nanka cedi no be depreciate by at the end of the year no let's say no appreciate and your value by over 40.7%. Amma pound where America UK Britain sika pound na Ghana cedi nya ho de asen no more than 30.9%.
Intense.
Na euro I find euro uko euro power scale obi di no na Ghana sika Ghana cedi abenya ho de asen no more than 24%. Enti dem make sure say Iran any Israel kontokwa na say US ade ne hojim obi ade ne hojima Winim Africa a safe haven. Sesi ano nkrofo aye say omoto mizala omo kan wasem no. Sesi obi say de bia obi am ba me bondi ano because abon imtabo nipa ene mraka boaje. Omo ye say missiles to up and down no. Amanfo he missiles na to no. But honorable case out of forcing o he missiles no. O he petrodollar. Ni focus na your more of finance. Say the cost no. How am I going to turn it upside down
and get resources for
exactly?
So that in that, in every misfortune, there's an opportunity.
There's opportunity.
Don't look out for the opportunity in the Iran-Israel
crisis.
Fantastic.
And to say, Obi, because of say Iran, any Israel, any US, air contact or more 2 missiles in Intino, be affect the economy now, and more mutriso. Ebe bo motriso ne me na me ka kire me din de Stephen Donko me say ebe bo motriso de enne ochina ene ochina chi because hade honorable Kasim boy say we say your import cover your reserve no it me cover your import for 5.7 months adentina Iran and Israel to kan maye no Iran and Israel to kan maye no honorable to force na try say no say me di adibiko parliament me mato di no gun rap Ghana accelerated reserve build this kind of reserve no so that in the future should anything happen from outside Oman will be strong enough to stand. That is the focus of the finance minister. Exactly, because only the entire mayor honorable case force in more on say. So man pani who so wait me I am find back. So what man say? And the man is doing the right thing.
Yeah, I thought it's forcing.
Iran and Israel, US can come talk. UK say on the base. As answer US for say they can even fire from there. And you must me security expert. Me sa geopolitical what the mokano me nka ho bi. Me ti me kan wasem. Me a finance person. And the ACB no na me the money there. Say what will be the impact on us? And I say who the impact no so e dey na ye dey be protect ye ho as o man Ghana. Ade here say we need to build a better economy, a strong economy. Say economy is strong. Na say you see the air strong. Na say you build it buffer air stronger. Me jidi say America opera one Russia enko kontokwa.
Okay.
Because of the yaya good, see yeta obia speculate say the price of crude oil ebe dump meboa. But obia so you say the price of gold ebe dump that.
But how do you relate the pricing of gold in this misfortune of oil? Connection here then. Okay, so until another day no. Say you have your current account. Yes.
Say oko pick your current account say you are. Okay. MP4 kono. As at the end of 2024. Now your honorable now your current account balance now $1.5 billion. And then no kasa at the end of 2026 just within 1 year mama buy or that on $9.6 billion.
You don't say that. Andokrasem naka.
Asa me catch no. Me the Stephen Donko me say current account no. Okay. Also how about who say oil any friends gold no e come na first one interaction and me say your current account balance no and never change your friends export and import
and I was in MP
what I say MP time mo kono as at the end of 2024 this on records now you $1.5 billion. And
I say, President Mahama buy 1 year.
The one buy within just 1 year, penal.
And don't forget MPP translate.
Oh yes. But the extra 1.5 billion. And that's on 9.6 billion.
9.6 billion.
Yes, $9.6 billion.
Say your TMPP didn't free cry. You have an average of $8 billion
yes.
within 1 year.
Within 1 year. Now, only. Enter say.
Honorable,
say you don't need to listen to the war. War no. Omo finance background no and omo they are looking at the war say etu to missiles air fly very say omo to iron then meet me holding impo but John Mahama one at forcing we be am no a different thing it's so be to me I move no from 1.5 billion and I come over 9 billion I mean that's enough for you to tell you say we are ever ready to get to build a buffer okay to be able to sustain any shock from outside.
For 2 minutes, you mammy.
Jamaica say, Omano, within the first 1 year, no, your mama has done a lot.
Great.
Every Vabano, not Ghana the car 122 billion Ghana cedis, right?
Okay.
Your mama buy here within 1 year. Your castle, your debt so by 82.1 billion Ghana cedis.
Can you imagine?
82.1 billion. It is 82.1 billion. Okay, sa 82 no kompo. You be sustaining shock a free Iran and Israel. These are the brains that you hear oh my Ghana. Exactly. These are the brains that you hear oh my Ghana. Well, it is sometimes the Omoka Bontia or more to football group of no we are very focused. We are building a nation. We are building a foundation. Foundation. Not in a coupon. Jesus Christ or share income. Or catch friend say Peter. Say Peter. Who son of a Miss Master die. That on a coupon or see Ghana or the Ghana help. See what through John Mahama because the foundation are very strong. Within 1 year, let me tell you, within 1 year, no, I'm gonna say what nearly reducing your debt to GDP from 61.8% to 45.3%. Masa, esa me sorry na me jina me mesam e ma John Mahama na me say so de ma ke sell out of force it is a media say miza to e fa wiem na say Ghana ha ensi ha na ensi ha no ye say omo ko block den be dimbi e fence we dey me din ko mi say tan lord den most is there 20% of vessels e fa ho en fa me ho because me ni control what I say but with the things that are forcing any John the Man Mahama at me would do 1 year no I am very confident say no matter what can out of Ghana corridors we are able to sustain it, we are able to build upon that, and Ghana will be a better place for all of us.
Fantastic submission by Austin. Thank you so much, bro, for that submission. We'll be joining the feed live on Facebook on Accra 100.5 FM near Ene. Yeah, count the citizen show. Actually, Nina say, forget about the naysayers. Umbetima your mind one cow mind your so the show musa. They went home with a humiliating defeat, 1.7 million. It been seen in the history of Ghana. And you know, one more Ghana show musa no. And it's obvious. Umbetimi aye ejumano. May call rabo so. You heard the state of the nation, but congratulations to you, Minia Baba Sadiq, on your appointment. Nigeria, right? So Nigeria.
Yeah, Nigeria.
Yes, congratulations, bro. You deserve it. You deserve it. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to you. Check it. I did mommy say. Vardy and mommy say. No cry. Now congratulations also to one of my mothers. 2012 no parliamentary candidates ewo dome Kwabena and ofri okobom dome abrakoye MP okoye MP ewo honum me no can say I think some people are appointing as deputy ambassador to Italy but see no President Mahama reassign no as substantive ambassador to Norway nti me no can say Oslo ayeye mame honorable Karen Akwako nti Sufaya nti mame oba megusu Ghana o cow. Okay. Now, Mati Asem we Ministry of Foreign Affairs na free. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs is pleased to announce 2 new appointments. We welcome them and look forward to their contributions in advancing our mission. First one is Fred Duho, Media Relations Officer. But we name it Valentino for free. Va is a head of communications, passport administration. She deserves it. She can do it. She's a fantastic woman. She's beautiful. She's single. Oh my God. And also my fan ka ona nyede. Eti Valentina ofori afri. They be on me say nye afri ofori. Ofori afri. Congratulations to you, and we know you make us proud. That's it. Honorable, me pacho ye pese ye share. We left with Kwajo say yeah more very well. We are left with about 15 minutes. And you know, Honorable, you know 8 a bit makuyedim. Honorable Pacho, you share the state And the honorable Faten. Honorable Faten, Nafa 5. Honorable Faten. Honorable, me patrol the state of the nation. Naposo. And the intimate Canina, but the infant strike opa.
The state of the nation. China, you have a debate. Yes. Maybe I made debate. Na me debate. Sir, dear Omampaini John Mahama Mramu obeda na di kire ye no makdika yaka. So obi ti Ghana ha. A otie no. Na o say ye mampaini be kan ye no. Bibi ewo mu, bibi a o kan ye wo hɔ a enye no kra. Ono de won kire saa de no poti na ye nka ho asem. Sanse the entire me abakosem edisua edie ni se history abakosem enu na ma hu nimdi o se won kai enora me papa be say oh you vegetable if you don't remember you don't know what happened it means uni memory bia o wuni memra wuni nimdie wuni madwen means a bibia
tabla rasa hwenim
good hwenim enti omampanyine say ono de wo hunu pen de wo sua enu nti enne sei na wo ye na abakosem kire wo am wo hunu de wo ye ne nden koma obedie ne nden no ne ntunso anso no eye ochina chama de ne yete ha nyina in fact even before me betna ha metie a decision bia me taking no some minutes or hours ago into metia.
That's right.
Into a china na wo twen no e de ne nkomo ya ye di wo ha ye nyina eno na be kire o china.
That's right.
You can't tell me say obekwa koda ene sebe wa jimi na de chin ye na wa hunu nyansa. I was so committed to BB and this BB Ansah what do you
okay.
I fear the day on my share, you were doing my answer. For Bibu who are contact and what you say. Dear one, you de share inside your beto, you know. Any dear could do any wakame eka. Didn't you a car no hear me and say, it will be a beam, na me ye campaign. Na me to me check Ghana can say, Ghana. I see I Ansah fui. O man Ghana pa ma konkro Ghana e de no ho kura ko se ye de ka ma yentimi 20 aye bankrupt. We accountant. So who declare now file for bankruptcy.
Okay.
The next thing about to an say you be appointed receiver amount. Now you liquidate you until you are here and get Ghana ha. The o man no ekodru ye no. E be hu an say o manager pa the parliament you say atoma obi aye de ne ka obefa e de ekotenika Jubilee House obi ebefa. That is what would have happened. Ena omampanyini nyame adom yenya omampanyini foforo Ghana for SSI. So what the car? Yeah, nsunsanso you say CD no ho nya de ni na efiri car wo de. So what the car wo de car na nkanka ma no ne car wo mu na. De koba nyina ne se da bia wo pesika e de akutua sa aka no. Sa sika no so nya wo Ghana CD ni bio ya ma no ne sika. Nti e wo se wo pre wo de no bebre na de koto na ma wo CD no ho de no kofom. Nti wo be ho an se wo depreciation. O see currency no depreciate.
Okay.
Currency ni depreciate. Ya nam say yen kwa ye ho eni ya kwankra ye no ma dodo na yesu akra krafia ma no ntino. Wo be kwa akokraba. Ade na akokraba ye no. Yen to ni buomu wa amano ne ho. Nanso wo be duru ha na nam say wo hia wo Ghana CD no dodo ansa wade akokra sa ade na nti. Na wo say ne bo no epejam. Nti be nse ne ma bo epeja ekosoro epeja ekosoro. De nti amempe ka no me between philosophy so our finance or say the best way philosophy be am could in or say the best way to manage your finances is to start paying your debt.
That's the best way.
Okay. Call the council so be big and the deba o de hwe bia o mampanyini dada kufuado wono de sebe o ka kire say wa bon economics wo nim say third class or say class no kura wonya bia ye nim ye mfa nche no eno okofa ba ko no ye frɛ no ba omia o se ono no onim de e wa mo ni sikase mu nti o meka no ho na wo mu oman no de no ko share saa bia ye nso aye saa de na ti ona na etu ne fo yenye se afutu ode ma no ye ko bo obesia ma ebedu bebi Ghana be ye sansani intimi ntua ye ho ka na me se nyanyame na Ghana fo nyina nya anti ase ne esesama mu anka ne Ghana yete no ya ton liquidation no liquidation say ya ton ya japade Ghana japade bi ne wo ebi ne me anka ebi am say de makoma no we fo so ka bi Ghana de no ya mfa me ente so bi come ya Ghana japade
akwa wi adan ka ne be ko Togo me misa anka de makoma America fo
America no fe na akosi ni se o man panyi we ba ye do mama ba ye afia no ni o Ghana ka no eso ate na me de maka de ye tua ye wo mu no me ka de ye tua ka bi kura ebenso ye ni tua we paid of the $1.4 billion we paid 709 bi de na ebere kura anso ye so man panyi ni se me di mi hu ne dodo me di mi hu ne me mpese wo be da me ka me mpese dan kura be du be kai me wo be kai se Ghana ye de ka o enti eka no metria eno enti ajaman so we asisika adwaso wonu mu a ehihye kasoma we Standard and Poor's fish Moody's omunyina se Ghana bono hu modern we sikasem ti ye modern mo ye credit worthiness they are trace ye di ehuni e wo sikasem peja se abambi na wo so sabre ye nya sa akonya ya anka de ombe hunu ya ne se ye de sa akonya no akobo besia.
We are a proud nation.
No, once no, see, Ghana, or man, no, we are seeing Yaji Atun, say Ghana, the car utia. No one is uncanny, Uncle Begum. And soon as I'm paying when yes, Obi Sami, the Amu Yenina, Puntu Amu Yenina, Tikano Free. A discipline, fiscal discipline. And they say, the accountant. So, bottom line or profit on fast whoever could ya. Noma mienu ye di company say pesika no bebre nti onoma wo ton no sales no mananye bebre na say wo expenses ni ye tietia wanya faso na mo ntimi nya sa nso a ene di huni na e ka wo bo sika wo yusuo no teso se no nso wo teso na wo sika e ba na ye no a when say unfaso e be bebre. Do you know what has happened to Ghana in 2025? On both revenue and expenditure, no, we have outperformed our targets. Inti yenye sikano bebre asende ye ka se ebenya. Sikano so a ye die no ye ni die duru saa. Me nye wadwen se no ntinu ye ntumpon. Me se atofo semba no se ohu se Ghana sikano do na enyunugu. Amanfo say ewie sikano to obesisi ano. 2026 budget na ye first budget no the buy say be catch yourself budget na dey abano mo hu lupos be bra mesisi ano na minim say nye ni nyina ntimu de mo ma me kwan na me nko me ye adwuma no me de mra bi be buy be frɛ no value for money office no chip ampanyi be catch yourself finance minister na be tusu sa de no ho wa hye no wa pia na tiko so on famra na me no mra
I don't know better
say Ghana si kabia e free your man your purse ni mu ye boto nu mu akwa abonte no e wo se ehu eso mfaso answer discount value for money no wa kire say contract wo hu say contract abanyu makuo de mema no bi wo ho a ye inflate figures no
it be triple no
wo se ono de make sure say si ma wo bi contract ye si enko ya abanyu bi asika na ye yusuo no obia na ekọ isa de na sa na wo se
later by evaluation be hunu say price no the same
me si ehonko anu faso aye benya
President Muhammad Eradi amani to test ko opeso se sam yema bibiri ansa no wako
me de adami te chiro tia mu se enti na obesa ko biem no ko fo se
tina Ghana fo so be jene so no
so de be si bi aye minim me odidi woni mu so papa no so hia no 1-on-1 kakra me hia no na ohwe ne ahokeka wo wodi magana se de opeso je bibi
compromised I mean
you can see it say this man papa no person oboa nti mesre say Ghana for mo de deɛ ehunu deɛ afi baako pɛ deɛ nie yɛsrɛ nyame sɛ ɔmma ɔmampanyini ahoɔden ɔmma ne finance minister no ahoɔden ne ministers no wɔn ɔmo ahoɔden na deɛ ɔmo yɛ biara no deɛ mmerɛhyɛ badwani deɛ ne sɛ yɛbɛbɔ ho dawuro deɛ no so ɔmo ba yɛbɛyɛ ntetea ehu sɛ wɔn printi nneɛma no bebree ba yɛn nso yɛbɛnya adagye anadwo 11:30 nyinaa ne yɛto hɔ yɛhwɛ mi bɛdi bɛti saa kɔrɛte sɛdeɛ ɛbɛyɛ a ɛbɛba bɛyɛ nneɛma papa mmara papa nhyehyɛ papa ɛde ama ɔman no ɔse mamanyini mama na ɛka ɔse sɛ anyɛ Ghana anyɛ yɛn abrɛ so nko ano ɔdwen nkyirima ne mma ne ne nananom nso adie nti na susua bebree na dodoɔ na akɔ wie sɛ yɛmfa ɛnyɛ mmara ama obi foforɔ ba a wɔntumi amɛsesa no ɛno akyi ɔkae sɛ bɛsɛ mmeranteɛ no ɛsɛ Ghanafoɔ bɛsɛ 1.1 na ɛnyɛ adwuma ayɛ ebinom nso wɔ mo nte ase wɔ mo me kura me wei na MPs a ɔmo kaka sɛ ade wei Ghana Statistical Service
Ghana 2025
nim ɔmo ba yɛn mmarahyɛ badwafoɔ hɔ sɛ saa nneɛma wei a yɛayɛ ne nti no ɔmo ba ne yɛ bɛdi nkɔmmɔ kita ahodie ne sɛ ɛyɛ ne yɛ keka figures a na wenyi ɔmo ɛne asoyɛ a ɔmo yɛ aban akontabuo nti ɔmo bɛhyia yɛn ma ɔmo kwan wɔ yɛn chamber hall ɛne ɔmo bɛkyerɛkyerɛ yɛ kwan a yɛbɛfa so a ɔmo de nneɛma bɛto abɔnten a yɛbɛhwehwɛ mu na yɛahunu baabi efire meyɛ sure sɛ krataa ebinom ɛnkan yɛ ada no koraa ɛtɔ meyɛ sure sɛ ebinom ante me deɛ mepaapaa cause sɛ ɛna sɛ ɔmo de biribi ɛtɔ sɛ deɛ ɛbɛhunu nyinaa ne nyinaa wɔ mu ha nti multi-dimensional employment status ne nyinaa mɛhyerɛ MP yɛdeɛ menim Steven ne wo sɛ monya saa anteteɛ no bi a na yɛ mmarahyɛ badwafoɔ deɛ statistical service wɔ ba hɔ ɛbɛtetee yɛ nti wo a wowura afiri deɛ kɔhɛ saa krataa no medeɛ nie ewie ya me bɛnam kɔfa afiri me office yɛakyerɛ so Ghana Statistical Service Ghana 2024 Statistical Year Review ɔmo de 2025 de aba mesrɛ wo deɛ kɔfa na deɛ yɛde hunu sɛ nipa dodoɔ sɛ na anya adwuma wɔ Ghana no ne nyinaa ɛwom meti yɛwo sɛ mefa me phone na metwa QR code no wotwa a ɛbɛkyerɛw monkɔhwɛ na yɛn nyinaa yɛhunu sɛ mampanyini no abɔ no ho bɔne enti na mese so obi sɛ deɛ papa no bɛka wɔ mmarahyɛ badwam ɛkyerɛ Ghanafoɔ nyinaa no biribi baako pɛ bɛtem baako pɛ sɛ kura wɔ mu a ɛnyɛ no kora wɔn deɛ ɔnyimpie na yɛni ho ɛnkɔmmɔ.
Fantastic submission. Probably I fall in love with you people. We got guests in Kujamu. I say very brilliant. Eric Agbene. I say wow. This guy Steven is very good. Okay, so would energy in Sudiaba. I say this is my first time seeing Honorable and hearing from him, and I'm really impressed. Beneza and I say Steven, don't call it stop notch. He knows his onions. Such a brilliant analysis. We say NPP was busy looting the nation, making themselves rich. Blah blah blah. Great messages there. But you can for SIC amount. You can say BBA Missy and internal here see a chibano. Insurance dear very important. Dream ho beat me is na only a mashi and wakra niama shape on it me done. One can say personal insurance because Oklahoma Jimua we here kakra. Your motor accident, okay, me insure and into make for SIC amount. Mr. No money. We scan beba Ghana butum Mr. Moa monkope SIC kwai na ye no mo enye enhye papa because mo break promises na di 2074 ho dance actually the hard builders and so April 6 months utua usika half ne amount 6 months na de tua ne aka no Mr. asase de eno ne yedi nya won kran dawa ubenya bi lucho bi ubenya bi afi ningo chopoli shy hills and so ubenya bi litigation freelance and I have flexible payments affordable so 0241 665200 0241 665200 Senate say men can just say crowd there omo boa ma bibia e kama because omo virtual app no and they say didi djuma ha nya fe na obekọ office bia akwa bre eno no so be dial *711 *9 hash *711 *9 hash na che say wako anim 24 hours ometimi no wedding kuma na page number na pe enchiremu se ne be ya Senate for ebitimi abo wekwane se nyina so the Social Security and National Insurance Trust there ye no mo na apem ebebesi ne a omu mukre empa hoda 0302 611 622 0302 611 622 honorable Yambre no asokra enti aka just 1 minute.
Okay. I think the discussion is no. Idea you say John Mahama and NDC they are doing the right thing. And I mean there's one thing be. Say nye state of the nation where you are. Aka minim say ofuriata or psychology and then question finance. Because I don't know me need so kwaya finance and also economics and no kwatena ho.
Investment banker.
No. I do mo ka kire ye. But me according to me the me say psychology. Because finance minister ultimately koje $5.65 billion. So the koye reserve. Ono koje bosia reserve na nka ye no maybe na nka da koye reserve. Yes, anything na mama this a gun rap no eba no. Ono de okoje bosia $5.65 billion. Na he de e woman e ma hi wo munyi. Sa $5.65 billion no. Interest will tia or says can no. $1.16 billion.
Interest.
Yes. Me say
Sika 5 no.
See $5.65 billion now kwaji no. Sika na waje for reserve no. Interest ayo tia or say loan no interest no. $1.16 billion. Ofrata se wanye psychology o kan me nyada meje dida because wanye finance na wanye economics. Wahu hwe na say nipa wo ya ofrata from 2017 to 2024 Uka Bank of Ghana BOG and Ministry of Finance Boma according to me kojiska 21.7 billion Ghana sorry US dollars. Minya what you better come on better to us.
Minya yanki be
better to us pa
sa nkomwe
you better to us pa
how to me forward na say dey be too sada
no we da say nyamisra
empanyifo enu e dey nkomo na nasimidin na no to da ko news is next stay on Ebesia.